What's going on? What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Day 16 of the Diddy trial. Today they had a video expert online and just explained the video of Cassie getting hit, the elevator video, Cassie in the hotel. And also now they got Cassie's friend online, Brianna Bongolian, if I say that right, man. Now they got her on the stand. The prosecutors was asking her questions just about, what I'm saying, Cassie or whatever, and also that Diddy hold her over the balcony. And when Cassie said that in her testimony or the lawsuit, Cassie kind of said some stuff wrong. So now I guess that's why they got Brianna online right now. But now she's if I understand, I mean, but now she's being crossed by Diddy team, man. So let's look at some of these tweets. And well, no, before that, let's look at a video right quick to give a quick update on what really happened today. From somebody that was in trial. Minus the ad. I hope everybody having a good day today.
Day, it's the United States versus Sean Combs, day 16. So this morning, before they brought in the first witness, there were some exhibits entered, and these were seized from a phone, Sean Combs's phone, when they raided Two Star Island. And there was nothing really attached to these exhibits, so the defense just wanted to, or I'm sorry, the government just wanted to just get them in. But these were text messages from Sean Combs to D-Rock, and the first message said something along the lines of, "Act like I am not effing with her." And we were assuming that he was talking about Cassie. And then D-Rock texted him something like, "I told everyone a fight broke out at the club. She won't tell nobody. I'll call you later." So we were shown that, and then the first witness was brought in, Frank Piazza, a forensic video expert. He's from legal and audio video. He is an official expert. He was sworn in as so. And this was some tough testimony to follow, so I'm going to do my best. But he worked for the SDNY between 50 and 100 times, but he said he also did 75% of his work was for defense teams. So he basically testified with the government that he analyzed cell phone video and surveillance video from March 5th, 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel. So half of the video that we've seen kind of shown chronologically has been on a cell phone, which is, I'm assuming, from Israel Flores, the one security guard, and then the surveillance cameras that are, in the corners on the ceilings of the hotel. Just as a side note, I think a lot of us are wondering how they got this surveillance footage when, I guess we were told by Garcia, etc., that it didn't exist anymore. And actually, during cross-examination, Tenny Garagos asked Piazza, how did you get the surveillance footage? And he said the government. And she said, do you know how the government got it? And he said no. So just, pointing that out. So again, essentially, he was testifying that yes, certain frames, there were 30 seconds per frame, but in this clip, only 22 were played, and this is why. It played faster, so, I fixed it through the software. I counted these frames, and I made it so that it would, the missing footage here would be aligned with the certain timestamps. So he, again, he essentially was saying this is why certain things happen. The pixelation, it happens because of XYZ, but that doesn't matter because, everything that you see here is accurately depicted as to what happened that day. He also said, what did he say? He said there was no issues at all with the cell phone footage. That was fine. He did say that there were some issues with the surveillance, which is why he kind of was talking about, why certain things jump, why they're blurred, the motion activation by the surveillance footage, and this is, this is why certain times the timestamps might have been skipped, and then they had him just point out certain things that were happening in the video footage, just, oh, what's happening here. And I think that was for the government to have an expert like Frank Piazza, who's dressed up in a suit, say, this is where the male in the video is kicking the female in the video. This is where the male is dragging the female in the video. And they pointed out all the different angles. Like there was an angle in the lobby of the elevator, but then there was another angle that we saw in the hallway that was leading up to their room. And so the government also said, we had him place these black spaces or just black, a black screen where there were places that the video was skipping, basically. So like, if there was a timestamp that said, 11:13, the next time we saw Diddy or Cassie, it was like 11:17, they would put a black space there so we would know that it wasn't like zoom, zoom, zoom happening all at once. Yeah, sorry. I hope you guys are following this, because believe me, I was like, am I getting all this? So when Tenny Garagos did the cross-examination, that was more about her indicating that the motion activator, and she wanted to elicit this from Frank Piazza, like, for example, that the motion activation wasn't necessarily working at all times, which is why certain things looked faster. For example, Diddy was holding a bag at one point, and I think it was Cassie's bag after he took it, and in a very split second, the bag dropped, so we didn't actually see him put the bag on the ground. The next frame we saw was like the bag on the ground. So she just wanted to point that out, like, well, because, and Piazza said, well, because he wasn't moving and he was kind of in the corner, it just skipped, that's why this is happening. So again, pointing out that maybe things had a bit of a 5-second difference here, and she also wanted to point out that during cross, that when Cassie first came out of the hotel, there was like a 2-minute difference from when Diddy was walking back to the room with the phone or something like that. And I think that when a lot of us saw the initial video, it appeared to be faster. She wanted to point that out. Let me make sure I'm getting all of that. She also, Tenny made sure to point out another point in time where Israel Flores, the security guard who came up, he appeared to be smiling and like laughing with Diddy. So Tenny was like, oh, the security guard's smiling and laughing. And I think that was the defense's way of maybe just in the moment minimizing the situation. Yeah, I mean, that was it. Again, defense wanted to point out different camera angles cause different places to skip, and this is why. But then during the redirect, the government just said, yeah, timestamps aside, does this video depict accurately what happened? And Piazza said yes. So that was that. I think a lot of us were like, ooh, glad that's over, because that was kind of like that was tough to follow. But I get the overall reason that he was up there, etc. So okay, the next witness was Brianna Bongolan, and we just started her direct testimony. Now Bongolan, excuse me, she is friends with Cassie. She testified they're still friends. She's a graphic designer. She's a marketing creative director, and she first met Cassie in 2013 or 2014, I believe. Let me just check my notes. Yes, while she was working at a fashion company, and then they first kind of became friends when she was working at another company, Young and Reckless, and she and Cassie collabed on some designs. And essentially, I won't get into all the details of their relationship, but Bongolan said, that, and we haven't gotten into the details yet, but when asked her experiences with Sean Combs, she said he dangled me over a 17-story balcony, and then he threw me onto patio furniture, and I have had pains in my neck, head pains, and severe night terrors and PTSD from this. Again, we didn't get into the details yet. I'm sure that'll come this afternoon. She said that, when she became friends with Cassie after collabing on this fashion stuff, they would do a lot of drugs together. I think the government was really trying to get ahead of that. She said they became more and more addicted over time: coke, K, ketamine, Oh, and she testified, and we heard GHB really for the first time. When asked if Diddy ever provided her with drugs, she said yes, G. And then she said that she had never tried G before, which was GHB. So again, first time I have really heard GHB mentioned. I think that's right. I mean, I don't know anybody else, but no, had not heard that mentioned before. But she also did testify, I think, again, the government was trying to get ahead of this, that she had also provided drugs to Cassie. She had previously sold drugs to other people, not often, and she does have immunity. And she appeared very nervous on the stand. She said she was scared of Puff, and I believed her. She did seem like she was genuinely scared. She talked about how she would sleep over at Cassie's. Diddy came over in the middle of the night one time, banging on the door. He threw a knife at Cassie. They were in close proximity, and she said that Cassie threw a knife back. She described a shopping trip where she was out with Cassie in 2016, and they hadn't told Diddy where they were going. They got their nails done, did some things, and Cassie showed her a text about, and Diddy listed all the places they had been that morning. And she said she was like, whoa. That's kind of weird. He knows exactly where you were and you didn't tell him. And then the last thing that she talked about before the lunch break was another incident in 2016 where, and I want to make sure I'm saying this correctly, where they were in Malibu at Diddy's place. They were, taking pictures with another photographer, she and Cassie, just for fun. And she said that Diddy came out and got in her face and said, "I'm the devil and I could kill you." And she describes being terrified. But she said she was actually extra terrified because she was on drugs. So, yeah, more later.
What have you
Wow. So that's Lauren Calling, man. She's a good, not really a reporter, but she's in the courtroom. And just getting her experience, man, is always helpful. So the woman that's on the stand now, that's Cassie's friend, seemed like they all took drugs. The next thing you know, she sold the drugs also. So I'm thinking she's also Cassie's friend, but was she like a drug dealer also? Like, this is crazy, man. But let's go back to some of the tweets, man, in the city press. He's in a courtroom, man. This is who I really been following. I think a lot of people been following him. He's in a courtroom, man. He's kind of giving us a transcript on just everything the prosecutors and the defense asked the witnesses and what the witnesses are saying. Let me see where I'm at. So now they're basically doing cross. So Diddy team is doing the cross right now, and Diddy's defense lawyer is Westmoreland. And witness on the stand, last name is Barkland. This is why I left off at. I know it's more tweets, but let's start right here. Combs Westmoreland, she asked, well, I don't know if it's he or she, but they asked, "I need to ask you some questions. You have immunity as long as what you say today is true, right?" She says, well, the witness said yes. Westmoreland asked, "Who decides if you're lying?" Morgan said, "The prosecutors." Westmoreland, "Miss Bono Goligan, you were a graphic designer." She said yes. Combs defense team said, "You and Cassie will work on designs, including at her hour, right?" Including at her hour. True. Pavone said, "Yes." Miss Westmoreland, "All right. You will focus on the t-shirt design." Borland says, "There were a lot of things." Westmoreland says, "She asked you to come over." Said, "Yes." Westmoreland says, "As you suggest Cassie do a photo shoot in the pool in just a t-shirt." Borland said, "That wasn't the first idea, but yeah." Westmoreland asked, "You began to feel comfortable with her?" Borland answered, "It sounds around it." Westmoreland asked, "You spent the night?" She said, "Yes." Westmoreland asked, "You went to parties with Cassie?" Borland, "Not going to parties, we partied." Westmoreland asked, "You did a lot of drugs with Cassie?" Borland said, "Yes." Westmoreland asked, "How did marijuana make you feel?" Borland, "Sometimes hungry." I heard that before. That hold up. When it skipped on. Okay, this is what we got right here. Westmoreland asks, "How does ecstasy make you feel?" Borland, "Up lighting." Westmoreland asks, "How about G?" Borland said, "Like the negative parts of alcohol." Westmoreland, "Perk." Borland said, "I threw up." Westmoreland, "Cocoa Puff? What the hell is Cocoa Puff?" Borland, "Blunt with weed and cocaine." Damn, what the hell? Yo, this is crazy. A blunt with weed and cocaine in it. So they were smoking weed with cocaine in it. Yo, that's crazy. Westmoreland asks, You would agree with me that you and Cassie had a serious drug problem. Yes. Yo, I figured that. I figured that Cassie was, I don't want to say she was a drug addict, but I can tell, and a lot of the witnesses that was on the stand, you could tell that a lot of them did drugs, just besides Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Um, what else? Westmoreland, you sold drugs to Cassie a lot. Bowler says yes. Westmoreland asks, you got her hundreds of pills. Bowler answers yes, they were hers. Westmoreland asks, name the drug dealers. Bowler said, I don't know if I can. Westmoreland, let's refresh. In this job, your clothing line did not work out due to the skater mentality at Diamond Supply. Hold up, guys. Something on my screen here. Sorry about that. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. I'll be back. Okay. Westmoreland asks, let's refresh. In this job, your clothing line did not work out due to the skater mentality at Diamond Supply Company. Baldwin answered, I believe they saw the vision, but whatever. Westmoreland asked, you believe you were one of Cassie's best friends? Baldwin asked, yes. Westmoreland asked, but you didn't meet with Mr. Combs for a year. You met in 2016, first time at a dinner at his house. She said, yes. Westmoreland, he was standoffish with you. She said, yes. Westmoreland, did you talk with Dante Nash after his testimony? Butler said, yes. Westmoreland, but not about his testimony, right? Westmoreland, we know what's going on. Westmoreland, you don't need to talk because you know. Oh, the prosecutor said projection, judge said sustain. So Dante Nash was he was a witness like a couple of days ago. So I know they all kind of talk with each other. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're supposed to, but they all trying to like, even though they talk to the prosecutors, I think they also getting their stories together also. You know what I'm saying? So this here is a pretty good question that the defense had asked this person right here. Combs Westmoreland asked, you hired Tyrone Blackburn to sue Mr. Combs. Bungland asked, she answered, it was to seek justice. Westmoreland, your definition of justice is to sue Mr. Combs. Ms. Baldwin, can you rephrase that? Rephrase that. Westmoreland asked, suing for money. Baldwin said, yes. Wow. They all suing, man. They all suing money. They don't want this guy really locked up, but they want to sue Diddy for money. Even though he's a billionaire and did these horrific things to these witnesses, man, they all want to sue, but they don't want to do no criminal charges. Even though Diddy might be a powerful guy, my first thought would be get this guy locked up, no matter what the money is. You know what I'm saying? But it comes to find out, man, a lot of these witnesses are just suing Diddy for money. So that's why I'm like, I don't want to say a lot of these witnesses not credible, but we already seen that a lot of these witnesses taking drugs, doing drugs with Cassie. You know what I'm saying? Seeing what Combs doing to Cassie, beating her up and stuff like that, and also beating y'all up in the process. But y'all still don't want to get this guy locked up, and y'all still want to sue money. Crazy work. Let's continue. Combs Westmoreland, November 23rd, you are aware Cassie filed a lawsuit. You were working together then. She said, yes. Prosecutor, may we have a sidebar? Judge said, you may. Okay, now they're having a sidebar. Let's see where we at. Okay, they're back. Combs Westmoreland, Cassie included the balcony incident in her lawsuit. Brolin asked, true. Westmoreland, Cassie said this happened at a hotel, true? Bargalon said, she didn't say it like that. Westmoreland, you said your apartment, it has a balcony. Okay, let's refresh and see if I missed anything. Okay, so now I'm caught up. This is getting interesting, man. This is getting interesting. I know in Cassie testimony in a lawsuit, she said that Brian Bongle, this lady right here, was hanging over a balcony. So now she says it's apartment, now it's a balcony. It's crazy. Okay. Okay, where we at? Okay, this is the next tweet right here. She said, "I didn't say it like that." Combs Westmoreland said, "Ask Cassie told you she never saw you over a balcony." I just noticed something, chat. I just noticed something. Wow, I'm not sharing my screen of the. Oh man, this is crazy. I'm not sharing my screen. Oh man, of the Twitter page that I'm on. This is crazy work. All right. Now I'm back. Wow, this is crazy. Sorry about that, guys, but I didn't. She said I didn't say that. Wow. Oh, this is crazy. Now I'm sharing my screen. That's on my screen. So this is the latest tweet right here. She said, I didn't say it like that. Combs Westmoreland, Cassie told you she never saw you over a balcony. Bongolan said, no, ma'am, I don't remember. Westmoreland laughs. All right, right here. Read this page and look up. You had these conversations. She said, I don't know. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. Every time that you witness get caught up in a lie, they say they don't know. Exactly. I bet you never heard this before. Exactly. Ding, 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 ding. Westmoreland strikes again. Westmoreland. It's crazy, man. These crazy. These witnesses get on the stand, and everything the prosecutor might ask them, they remember. But when the defense come out and ask you this question right here, they be like they don't remember. But they forgot. They forgot that the defense team and the prosecutors have all the text messages and stuff over the years. So I don't know why they act like they don't remember some of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man. It's wild. Um, this is crazy, man. So now we're just waiting on more tweets. Let's see. Let me refresh my page. Let me see if anything else come up. Nope. Okay. Let me see if we can look at a couple news clip right quick. And let me see. Let me share my screen. I do want to play a clip from a guy that was a male escort, and his News Nation interviewed this guy.
The News Nation.
Let's see, where is it at? Nah, it was a short. Okay, this is it right here. So this guy was one of the male escorts having sex with Cassie and Diddy. Well, not really having sex with Diddy, but Diddy was there.
Erdes Chunky Salsa.
And then the next.
You can generally tell what's really important in a high stakes trial by what the two sides are fighting about before the trial. That's usually the giveaway, right? In the case of United States versus Sean Diddy Combs, the defense did everything they could to keep that hotel surveillance video light years away from the jury. And the feds fought just as hard to include it. And we thought we knew all the reasons why. We thought that, Diddy seeing viciously attacking a defenseless Cassie Ventura cowering and trying to stay alive, that would be bad for Diddy, right? No way to deny that. But we now know that despicable display from 2016 and the freak off that came right before it was only the half of it. And maybe not even the most important half when it comes to the charges he's facing, racketeering. Today, the jurors in his trial heard from a former security supervisor at that hotel. His name is Eddie Garcia, and he testified that not long after the attack happened, Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Coram, called him to ask for the footage. He said that he told her no on the phone, and again when she showed up in the lobby, said he told her no again. But that night, Garcia testified, Christina Coram called him again, and this time she handed the phone to Diddy. Garcia told the jury in Combs' federal trial that Puff said if that video ever got out, it would ruin his career. He testified that Diddy promised to, quote, take care of him if he could only find a way to get that video.
So this is basically starting off. Basically, the security guards have had the footage. You know what I'm saying? And Diddy paid these guys off to delete the footage, get rid of the footage, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Paid $100,000 to a security guard, and I think it was like two other people that Diddy paid off that to get the surveillance going. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm thinking like, dang, he put all that money, and the video still coming up in trial all over the internet, all over the blogs and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And the prosecutor's trying to use this as not just bribery, but racketeering also. You know what I'm saying? You paying off some stuff. You know what I mean? Bribery. It's crazy.
And so Eddie Garcia, who was promised immunity to tell the truth in court, reached out to his boss, who agreed to sell the video for $50,000. And the following day, Garcia brought a USB drive with that video to a meeting he said included Diddy, that chief of staff, Christina Coram, and one of Diddy's bodyguards. But before handing over that little USB stick, Garcia said he told Diddy he was worried. He was concerned he might be implicated in a crime if Cassie Ventura ever called the police and complained. At which point, according to Garcia, Diddy had a plan. FaceTimed Cassie and ordered her to, quote, tell him you wanted this too, Cassie.
All right, now we don't know if he ordered Cassie to say that or he just put Cassie on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Cassie was coming out with a movie, so she didn't want that video out. Now, there's news reporter right here. I don't know if she buys or what. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think Diddy ordered her to say that. I think he's giving the phone and, you know what I'm saying? And listen what Cassie told the guy.
A freshly beaten up Cassie was there on the FaceTime wearing a hoodie and complied with Diddy's demand, Eddie testified. He then said he signed a contract swearing that no other copy of the video existed and
Cassie was on FaceTime with the guy who had the video, security guard or whatever, and Cassie told him that she didn't want that video to come out because she had a movie premiere.
Swearing him to silence with $1 million penalty if he ever spoke of what he saw or of what he did, i.e. the payoff. In return, Garcia says he was handed a bag containing $100,000, double the amount that Garcia's boss had asked for. So he got a bit of it, another guard got a bit of it, and the boss got 50. And allegedly that wasn't the last time that Garcia heard from Sean Combs. Garcia says that Diddy called him on Easter, telling him, quote, you're my angel, God is good, God put you in my life for a reason, end quote. And then Diddy asked whether anybody had asked about the video. And Garcia said he told Diddy no, and that Diddy said, great. Garcia told the jury that Diddy told him if he ever needed anything to reach out, which Garcia did. Said he needed a job. But Garcia said he never heard back from Diddy about that. Now, 9 years later, that video has turned up as evidence, not just of craven brutality, but of potential bribery and obstruction of justice, which are two predicate offenses that are required to prove, what do you know, racketeering. Something else that could prove racketeering and the sex trafficking charges? If Cassie Ventura, his girlfriend, was coerced through fear and beatings to take part in those kinky freak-offs with male escorts who were flown in from, other states, that is what you call sex trafficking. It's what you call coercion, forced labor, other predicate acts of RICO. I'm joined now by Sean Deering, a former escort who worked under the name Skylar. He says he participated in...
Now, we have to understand that I get what this lady's saying, that the prosecutor is trying to prove that, you know what I'm saying, racketeering, the bribery, then also the defense can kind of come up as Cassie is a celebrity, Diddy's a celebrity, and we kind of see this all the time that these celebrities stay in hotels and stuff like that, man. Also, they might have people they might party with that have them sign NDAs and stuff like that. And NDAs is just basically whatever goes on at this party or whatever goes on around me, you can't say anything outside. And if you do, you're gonna be sued. So I give both sides that they're trying to prove that, but then again, it's like a lot of celebrities do pay people so certain stuff won't really get out. So if you kind of like say this is racketeering right here because he paid the guy not to release the security camera footage, then we need to bring a lot more celebrities in cases like this also. You know what I mean? Because I know it's a lot of time that other celebrities pay other people to not bring out stuff or give it to like TMZ and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of interesting, but I get what they're trying to do. So right now we about to have the one of the male escorts that was hired to have sex with Diddy and Cassie. You know what I mean?
In more than a dozen sex acts with Diddy and Cassie. Sean, it's really good of you to be here. I appreciate this more than you know, because this is a very sensitive topic. A lot of people are very nervous and concerned, and I can understand if you are as well. Let me start by asking you, when you were with Cassie and Diddy, did you ever get the sense that Cassie wasn't fully into this sex act that you were performing with her while Diddy was watching? Did you ever get the sense that she was doing this because she was being told to do it?
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari.
Freaking ads. It's ads.
Us at our next investor.
You know, I don't like to assume, and in those situations, I entered in full respect, and I went to everything I say. I don't want to overstep my boundaries and such, and I want to say in all due respect to Cassie throughout the situation, as she treated me with the utmost respect, dignity, even through these crazy acts. You know, initially when I had in the early days of seeing them, it seemed it was very jovial, like you know, to adults who wanted to explore further. But as the encounters grew, there was an energy about these situations and such that I guess you could say devolved. So for me to say, from my perspective, that I know for sure by force, it's a little presumptuous, but what I noticed on a physical, from just a physical person-to-person perspective, I'm also a bartender, was a bartender, and I did private parties and such. So I observe people a lot, and I'm that guy. I do appreciate. I love to serve, so I'll listen and such. I mainly was there to ensure I accomplished my goal for that evening, to provide the entertainment that the two people who hired me desired. And, you know, for me to say I can definitely confirm this or that, it would be a little sumptuous, but I can definitely say, you know, there's a spirit that had changed through time. And with that, I don't know what happened behind further closed doors with them, but there were signs, some would say.
Can you qualify that a little more? You said the spirit changed. How did things change? And as these progressed into the latter part of the sex acts that you performed with this trio, did it seem that Cassie was as willing?
That's kind of how it devolved. It seemed, you know, I don't mean to speak in such broad terms as this, but I perceived, you know, what we did. We were adults on a adult playground through that time and such. And so that kind of was the spirit initially, where she was very just easygoing and warm. And there were times where in the later days, yes, it did seem very performative in a sense, and that's part of the kind spirit that Cassie has, that and people, you know, many people will ask, well, why do you go back? What's if you're so brave, why'd you keep going? Many won't understand the deep seed of arms that someone with power or fame may have. And I'm just a nobody. I'm just a small dude from a town in Paul, Hawaii. But I was involved in these situations, and you know, Cassie just, I guess all I can say is I have the utmost respect for her, and she shocked me throughout the whole experience. I'm sorry, my train of thought gets a little lost.
Is it me or this guy seemed like he was in love with Cassie? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it seemed like he's kind of talking in circles here. You know, I don't know why they got him on here, because I mean, I thought he was going to tell some stuff that, yeah, she was being forced. Yeah, he saw Cassie get beat up or whatever, such and such. But it seemed like he just, I know he's watching his words, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I don't know, maybe just me.
At times, but
If you're out walking daily,
His ass.
walking enough for your current.
It's okay. I do want to be more pointed in my questions only because it's so critical, because they're debating her reaction in, these sex acts. Her lawyers will say she was fully into it. This was sex between consenting adults. She loved it. She texted him. She loved it. She wanted to do these things. But the prosecutors are saying, and she herself said on the stand, no, I didn't. At first, maybe, sure, but this became my job, and this became something I had to do, because if I didn't please him, I could get beaten up by it. And I just wondered if you ever got the vibe, or if you get a sense that that seemed to check boxes with you as well. That's kind of how you felt about how things digressed.
With that kind of framing, yes. Like I said, I don't want to come out and say that because I don't know what went on further. But the spirit that was there, it definitely devolved from, cordial two couples having fun into, her even going beyond the moment and being kind enough, like, she would put on the smile and then continue in her role. Put on the smile, put the head down, and then just continue in the role rather than in the early days of, it's seeing a joyful time. And I also don't want to speak too much beyond, I don't want to say too much for certain reasons. Out of respect for Cassie, for other reasons.
Can you tell me this? Did you ever sense any fear?
You can see the interviewer, man. She seemed a little like irritated that he ain't really like saying what she want him to really say, or really come out and say like, listen, yeah, he beat her. Yeah, I saw that. The interviewer is like really trying to get the answers out of him, because you could tell that she's kind of asking almost the same questions, but in a different way.
Did you ever sense that Cassie had any fear of the way you and she behaved if Diddy were in the room or if he weren't in the room?
That's one thing, I used the term, she's a badass lady, in the People article recently. And I mean that in the sense that she could step back and understand. I wouldn't use the word fear. I would use the word respect. She respected what her role was, what she was there for. And I ultimately believe that's the only reason I was seen more than once, is that there's somewhat of a kindred spirit between her and I, where I love to serve and I do truly do appreciate others. And I do believe that she has that as well deeply. And, she wanted to make the most of this situation. She wanted to satisfy this.
Let me ask you this, Sean. Sorry to interrupt, but let me ask you this. There was some episode you described where Sean Combs walked out of the room and you asked her a question and she shushed you and said, no, we can't talk until he comes back in the room. Is that true? Is that what happened? Is that the correct description?
Yes, that did happen. And I realized I would like to keep I'm going to try to keep our private moments a little more between us moving forward. But there was a moment, where the acts were happening and Diddy left the room. And I forget what I had said, but I kind of just like, hey, what about this or that? I forget what the topic was. But it was a moment where I kind of had a realization of the depths of the situation where it is, because she was, we were passionate seconds before. And then the next moment, you could tell there was something that had come over her in a sense that she knew it may cause jealousy or something of the nature if her and I interacted in some way with him not there. So
you sensed a fear. You sensed a fear that came over her very quickly once he left the room, that there should be no conversation between you. Did it sound as though it seemed to you she was frightened?
That's why I use the term she's a badass lady. I wouldn't say frightened. I say she just understood the situation to the extent that she needed to. And that's why I'm sorry, like with her, I wouldn't say fear, you know, like it was mostly just she understood the situation and she, and yes, you know, I know that through those times, like that demon in his eye, yes, that, but I personally, I just see her as such a strong individual that I didn't necessarily see fear in her, just she knew her role at that time, or she.
Sean Deering, I'm very appreciative of you speaking. That you have spoken with the prosecutors, correct? They know your contributions to the knowledge base of your involvement, right?
I'll just. I've received guidance from individuals on. I'm just going to try to leave it at that. I'm here speaking with you, attempting to just have my side heard, and ultimately, I just want Cassie respected on all of this. You know, my face was out there, and I just want to let my side be heard. But I don't want to overspeak. Okay. And
you may have to if they, you know, if they call you.
All right. Well, listen. You can tell he has something. He felt something for Cassie. You know, I mean, you're going to tell in his words. You could tell in his facial expressions that he really enjoyed the time that he had with Cassie. Like you say, some spirit. He felt the spirit with Cassie. The demons in Diddy looked like he was a demon, but then again, Cassie wasn't in fear of her life. Cassie wasn't in fear of not having sex with him or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So she was basically in control. So that's why he called her a badass. He didn't say she was fearful for her life, wasn't being coerced or anything like that, because Cassie was in control. Cassie was enjoying the moment. You know, even though Diddy was there kind of directing, and when I say directing, I mean like Diddy was in some kind of weird, they call it voyeurism or something like that, that they dress up, watch, you know what I'm saying, watch another man have sex with your girlfriend, which is weird. But that was the type of the stuff that he was in, and Cassie seemed like she was in it also. You know what I'm saying? Not saying Cassie was liked it every time, but Cassie was into it also. So we have that guy right there, another male escort coming forward. This is like the second one I know that kind of came forward and saying that she wasn't coerced or she wasn't frightened, anything like that. She was just in the moment. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but this guy seemed like he was in love. It was a pointless interview, basically. He didn't really he didn't really say what the interviewer really want him to say, man. It seemed like the interview kind of, hey, I didn't interrupt you, but did she like she was in fear? She said it a couple of times, but the guy kept saying, no, she wasn't in fear. But let's go back to the tweets, man. Let's go back to the courtroom, see what we got. Any more tweets? All right, let's go. Let me refresh it because this is the last tweet right here. Hold up. Hold up. Well, let me see. Let me refresh it. Where we left off at. Let me see. Okay, there's sidebar. You say, okay, this is where we left off. We're at the balcony. Okay, we right here. Look up. Okay, she read a message that was she had lied. Okay, we right here. Boom. Let's go. Combs Westmoreland asks about this alleged balcony incident. You and Miss Ventura talked about the date, the place, and who was there. Bongaloni. I'm saying her name wrong, so forgive me on that. Bongolian. True. Westmoreland in 2015 and 2016. You didn't see any signs of violence. True. Miss Bongo said, I don't know the exact year. Combs Westmoreland. They asked the birthday party, what drugs were you doing? Bongo said, I don't remember. Westmoreland asked, alleged knife throwing incident. He just walked in and threw a knife. I'm not sure. Westmoreland, are you telling the truth? Objection. Now they getting her caught in the lie because it seems like she not remembering a lot of stuff. Judge says sustain. Combs Westmoreland asked, didn't you tell the government they would get in knife fights, plural? Bologna said, I don't remember. Westmoreland, let me show you. But Bologna, I was suggesting where the knife came from, Westmoreland, because it makes no sense. Oh my goodness. Combs Westmoreland asked, you're saying you don't know how he got in it to throw the knife, but once he's left, you were no longer worried? Bergman said, I don't remember how I felt. Westmoreland asked, so you say at a photo shoot, Mr. Combs said, I could kill you. Ms. Borgland said, yes. Combs Westmoreland, but at first you told the government it was at a party. Bergman said, I don't know. Westmoreland, your first demand letter said Mr. Combs said I could kill you while he hung you over the balcony. Bergman said he did both, just not at the same time. Okay, let me refresh it. Let me see if any more tweets. Okay, we got one. Okay, they had a sidebar. The prosecutor asked for a sidebar after a long sidebar. Cone Westman. They asked, you met the government January 18, 2024. Didn't mention the I could kill you, but put it in your secret demand letter. But only said yes in a demand letter. I don't know when. Man, they kind of they like, yeah. The defense, man, Diddy team is getting her caught up in a lie, man. This whole case is wild, man. This whole case is crazy to me. Until some more tweets, man. Let's go back to see if we can get some more people, see what's going on. Let me see. Let's see if we can. Let me see if we can get some more people that was actually inside the courtroom. I know Law and Crime. They usually be up on top of their game. Let's see.
However you book, first check Kayak to find great deals and filter out flights you maybe don't want.
All these ads.
Was put those black frames in. Then the next 4 minutes of the video, you can see Diddy running down the hallway. He's kicking.
This is a lady right here, man. She was doing reporting the last few days, man. She's pretty good. She was inside the courtroom also.
Stone Mountain, Georgia, New Jersey. So thank you so much for everybody for tuning in. We'll take your questions. But I want to go to Elizabeth Milner, Law and Crimes reporter, outside the courthouse right now. A lot happening today, Elizabeth, and I want to start with the fact that Frank Piazza, this digital forensics expert, took the stand. Why was he so important to today's testimony in the trial in general?
Well, Jesse, first off, I have to say it was perfect timing because the ambulance just passed by me as you were asking me this question. Also, I just want to shout out Germany for watching this. Little known fact about me is I actually grew up in Germany. But just as far as Frank Piazza's testimony goes, I was really kind of looking forward to his testimony.
Let me know if y'all can let me know if y'all can hear her because it's kind of low on my end.
Continental Hotel video and just dissecting it to make kind of a compilation video of it for the government after the government asked them to. And so there were a lot of objections in the interim of this, even before Frank Piazza took the witness stand, mainly because the defense didn't like the idea of this compilation video going back as an exhibit when the jury does go forward and deliberate on this case, and that is coming obviously later on. But as far as the compilation video that we saw, it was kind of what it sounds like, a compilation video of the surveillance video from the Intercontinental Hotel incident, as well as the cell phone video that was taken by Officer Israel Flores, who now works for LAPD. However, at the time, he was working for security for the hotel. And so what we see in this particular compilation video is the first 10 seconds, Cassie is walking with her black bag, walking down the hallway in the direction of her camera. The next 20 seconds, we see multiple angles of Cassie walking down that hallway. You can see black frames kind of where Frank Piazza had spaced out just the differences as far as the camera angles go. So for example, if one camera angle shows Cassie walking before they go to the next camera angle, they put a black frame in there. And that was just something that the government did because the defense kind of didn't like it just playing in full, making it present to the jury like this was just the events that had happened. So what they did was put those black frames in. Then the next 4 minutes of the video, you can see Diddy running down the hallway. He's kicking, he punches Cassie, he drags Cassie once he meets her in that elevator bank, elevator lobby, which we've already seen at this point. Then Diddy grabs Cassie's bags. Cassie makes a call using that hotel phone on the wall. And then Diddy walks back to the hotel room. He reemerges without Cassie's bags. He grabs a cell phone from Cassie. He throws a vase at Cassie. Then the next 5 minutes of that video, because this video was about 11 minutes and 30 seconds altogether. And so we see Cassie using the hotel video. Diddy says something to her. Cassie puts her hands up. Then Israel Flores arrives to the elevator. You see the cell phone video at that point kind of take over. So before we were just watching the surveillance video and how it was compiled together. But when Officer Flores appears, you can see that is the cell phone video that he had taken of just the native system that Frank Piazza calls it. So it was essentially Officer Israel Flores taking cell phone video from the surveillance system that they had at the hotel in 2016. And so then you kind of see the cell phone video zoom in a little bit. And if you go back to Officer Flores' testimony, you see that cell phone zoom in because he was like making a comment about his shoes. And mind you, everyone, while we're watching this video, there is no audio to it. So it's not like we're hearing the words that were exchanged between Cassie and Diddy. None of that. We're not hearing Officer Israel Flores and his, I guess, commentary over the cell phone video. None of that. It was complete silence. And so then we see Cassie walk away. Israel Flores makes a call on the hotel phone. It ends the cell phone video portion of just that compilation, I should say. Then you see Diddy reappearing in the hallway. Officer Flores follows behind him. Diddy and Israel Flores are seen talking in this hallway. Cassie reemerges on the opposite side of the hallway, goes towards the hotel room. Then you see Israel Flores, Diddy, Cassie go off camera. Cassie reemerges holding her bags. Then Officer Flores reemerges. Then Diddy reemerges holding a cell phone. And so by the end of the clip, what you see is Diddy putting that cell phone to his ear, and then the video ends. And so as far as just kind of where we were from this video altogether, it was something that we've already seen. But in this sequence that Frank Piazza put together, we're kind of seeing just a sequence of events. And again, there are black frames kind of in the middle of that. But I think what's also interesting, Jesse, is that Frank Piazza also examined the sexually explicit videos or the freak-off videos. And so we saw a stipulation from the parties that these videos, which weren't shown in court today, by the way, the jury didn't see any of these videos, but we did see a stipulation between the parties that these videos came from October 8th of 2014, December 4th of 2014, October 14th of 2012, and October 20th of 2012. And there were just multiple.
All right, so she basically is talking about the video. The guy who's a video expert, telling basically about the video of Cassie getting hit in the elevator at the hotel. Let's see if we can listen to some other people right quick. Let's see. Okay.
Nation of Frank Piazza, I did see him just very intently looking at that computer screen against him.
All of this as we take your questions for the next hour. I'm joined by criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor Safa Robinson Ferrer, criminal defense attorney William Corman, and in studio with me, trial attorney and legal analyst Misty Maris. Great to have you all here. Misty, I'm going to start with you since you're in studio with me.
So this right here is other attorneys from other places and stuff like that. Me, man, I like to listen to other attorneys and just to get their opinion about this case. What they think about the prosecution, also what they think about Diddy's defense team and stuff like that, and what they think about the overall trial. You know, I like to hear other people's opinion also. So we do have some biased people, then we also have unbiased people. You know what I mean?
This the reason why Brianna Bangolin needed immunity? Is it the idea that she is what maybe the prosecution is going to characterize a co-conspirator in the racketeering criminal enterprise because of the drugs?
I had a feeling that this was going to be drug related.
So they're talking about the girl on the stand now, Brianna Bangolian, Cassie's friend. They're talking about her because she sold drugs. She also gave drugs to Cassie also, and she also did drugs for Cassie. So the whole situation is crazy, and that's why she got an immunity.
Mind, anytime that there's distribution or use of drugs, that could be criminal activity. So she's going to be testifying about the use of drugs, obtaining drugs for these individuals. And so it doesn't even have to go so far as to be a co-conspirator in the racketeering enterprise. It could be enough just that she's involved in that drug distribution, and she's not going to want to, under oath, get up there and start talking about that and presumably open herself up to criminal consequences.
She's not the first person in this case who's asked for some sort of protection. Got a question from Shop Girl. Is Jesse Weber a lawyer? I am, believe it or not, an attorney, passed the bar, went to law school, passed the bar, practiced for several years, got out of it. My fellow panelists are much braver than I am. I went into TV, but they are fighting the good fight. Okay, so Safa, let me go to you. This is a question from Shai. Can Diddy be subpoenaed? I guess the question is, can he be subpoenaed and compelled to testify?
That's a good question.
Case? No, he cannot. Mr. Combs has the right to remain silent, and of course he's going to exercise that right. It's a constitutional right, so he cannot be subpoenaed to testify. Now, if he makes the choice to testify on his own behalf, he has the right to do that as well, but he cannot be subpoenaed. He cannot be compelled to testify.
William, we've got a question from Olivia E. How does Bongolan's testimony play into the prosecution's case of RICO and other charges?
Well, I think it's key testimony, and I think that's why the prosecution not only wanted to have her there, but also was willing to give her immunity. The acts that she's testifying to regarding the drugs, I think, are very important. I think what she saw in the room, she's one of those people that they actually put in the room where it happened, and I think her testimony is key. I anticipate that we're going to hear her talking about exactly what Diddy was doing in the room, Diddy's relationship with guns, Diddy's relationship with violence, and Diddy's relationship with drugs, and all those things are key. Again, if the government didn't think she was important, I doubt they would have given her immunity in the first place.
There are three things I think she does, and I agree with you. One, she corroborates Cassie's testimony about abuse. Two, she talks about the threats, the violence, which goes to this overall pattern of.
Plan your visit today to experience Biltmore at its brightest. Kids visit free all.
Talks about how Sean Combs used his resources and his business and his staff to further a campaign of abuse against women. This just highlights it. And three, drugs, one of the underlying predicate crimes of racketeering. The prosecution has to prove too. There's arson, there's kidnapping, there's forced labor, there's drug offenses. And if you're talking about supplying drugs that were used potentially in freak-offs or just used in general, and you're talking about this criminal enterprise, she was allegedly a part of it or not, that helps to further this. Again, racketeering conspiracy, couldn't have agreed with himself to further criminal activity. He had to have an agreement with others, including the people around him. Okay, got a question for you, Misty. This is from YouTube Me. How can the defense differentiate between a celebrity couple's...
Let's get back to some more tweets. They basically was talking about the drugs, conspiracy and stuff like that, how they still want to prove racketeering, man, about the drugs. Like I say, let's get to the tweets, see what's going on. Let me refresh. See where we at. Okay, let me see where I stopped at. Okay, boom, I stopped right here. So we got Combs Westmoreland. Read this. Bogolonian. The whole thing. Westmoreland, this paragraph. Judge, as much as you want. Bogolonian, thanks. Okay. Westmoreland, you didn't tell the government about I could kill you and Tyrone was there. Yes, I let him go. Combs Westmoreland, drugs were expensive, right? She said, they are expensive. Westmoreland, now? Westmoreland said, I don't know. Westmoreland, did you run out of money for drugs? Westmoreland, I don't remember that. Westmoreland, you and Cassie had a drug partnership. She said, yes. Westmoreland, Cassie would pay for the drugs. You go buy them. She said, yes. Westmoreland, did you meet the government on May 25, 2025 and June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th? Yeah, and that's not long ago. Westmoreland, that's today. Westmoreland said, I'm not good with dates. What? Hold up. He just gave you the dates and you say you're not good with dates. I'm kind of confused on that, man. Let me refresh and see if we got any more tweets, man. Okay, boom, we got one more. The balcony incident. Didn't you tell the government there was a party in an apartment? Well, I'm saying I don't remember that. Westmoreland, you told the government your girlfriend was in the bathroom, not that you took her in there. Well, I'm saying my ex. Okay, see, I see that tweet right here because Uh, Bogolian said she took her girlfriend in the bathroom when Diddy and Cassie was fighting. And now she's saying, okay, the government said you told the government your girlfriend was in the bathroom, not that you took her in there. Huh. Interesting. Let's look at some comments on this right here, man, when she says she's not good with dates. Let's look and see what other people said. Okay, this ain't fair anymore. Turbolusa turn loose. Now and my granddaddy voice. Wow. Get her out of here. This is tragic. Westmoreland is crushing her, I fear. Oh, now you want to. Okay, this is crazy. Let me see. No, I need more content. I'm over it. Yo, this is wild. This is wild. Yeah, she definitely dog much more. I like to read other people's comments and see what they say. She don't even know what day it is. Yo, that's what I said. That's crazy. Like the defense attorney asked her, said you met 2 days ago and today, but she said she's not good with dates. Come on, man. Oh man, this is crazy. She probably is high. Dude, she means met up with them before her testifying. What is Westmoreland doing? What? Let me see what she said. Trying to talk fast so she can't intimidate her. Yeah. This is crazy. Let's see. Get this line as understand the comments, but that oh my goodness. Don't do drugs, cuz today we seen a real life lesson of you might be telling the truth, but when you're a drug head, people are less likely to believe you. Yo, these comments are crazy. All right, let's refresh. All right, nothing more. Man, how y'all doing today, man? Tell me how y'all doing, man. Where y'all from? First time looking at my live. I don't go live too much. I post videos when I can. I work a lot. So I may continue to try to do this, live streaming videos or whatever. See how it goes. Tell me what y'all think about the trial. Do y'all think Diddy's guilty? Do y'all think he might get off? Do y'all might think he might do life? Do y'all might think he might do a couple years? That's it. Let me know in the comments, man. Tell me what y'all think. Let's see what we got, man. See if we can. Let's see. Go back to YouTube, man. See if anybody. Let's see. This whole case to me, man, it's like I don't want to say the case is all over the place, but it's like it's just man, I don't know, man. It's like I say, Diddy is a horrible person. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy, Diddy is a demon, man. He's a real demon. Let me see what is it. This is pretty interesting right here. Let's see.
Let's get some perspective now from our powerhouse legal team. We have trial attorney Monique Presley, who used to represent Bill Cosby, Jim Trusty, former chief of the DOJ's organized crime and gang section. He used to represent President Donald Trump, and Shan Wu, defense attorney and former federal prosecutor. Great to be with all of you. First to you, Shan. So Mia has been questioned for 3 days now, virtually the same amount of time that we saw Cassie Ventura on the stand for. What impact do you think she's going to have on the outcome of this trial?
Well, I think the reason you're seeing her up there for such a long time is because it shows what kind of impact she could potentially have on it. Like Ventura, she's also being presented as a witness who was also victimized here. And so that's a very important piece of foundation for the prosecution to lay. They still have a lot of stuff to tie together, but they have to get this evidence out there. And I think from the sounds of it, it's been awfully compelling testimony.
Compelling testimony that does overlap with some of the allegations of physical and sexual abuse that we've heard previously. Is there a risk that the prosecution is overlapping too much?
There's a risk in cases like this where the prosecution really has to be careful that the more impactful, even salacious testimony doesn't go past the point of being probative versus prejudice, which can solve a lot of problems for you on appeal if you get the conviction. A little hard to say. I mean, you're seeing objections from both sides a lot. today. I think today's objections were more the prosecution was trying to make a point to the jury that the defense was kind of being bullying towards the victim. But they do have to be careful with that, and they have to really stay in the focus zone of making sure all this very impactful, compelling evidence gets tied to the elements of the charges.
Can I say something about those objections? Please. You know, just it's a bit of trial advocacy, I suppose. You know, it is a difficult spot in front of a jury to have somebody on the other side who you feel is drawing you into constant objections. Because in a sense, if you keep objecting, you're highlighting that they're scoring points. Sometimes the jury takes it the opposite way, like you're obstructing a logical course of questioning. So it's a real art to figure out, when do I just sit down and let it play out, when do I not? What I'm hearing from the report is that the judge is not being a particular activist about shutting down the defense cross. If that's the case, you got to read the room as a prosecutor and wait for just a few times where it's really critical to object. So I think that's an interesting kind of game within the game that's going on. The other thing I just want to mention real quick, you know, assault and sexual assault are not predicate crimes for RICO. This is charged as a racketeering, influence, corrupt organization, the entity being all of Sean Combs' businesses and himself. So it's legally permissible, but kind of factually tricky. I think what this is building to, believe it or not, is a witness that's not a victim. It's building towards an expert on human trafficking and sex trafficking to explain why someone like Mia would stick around, why Mia would still have this misplaced allegiance years later. And they're going to put it in the context of the psychological control that happens in human trafficking cases. So I think that's going to be a real interesting battle down the road, is who comes in to tie these crimes together that are not actual RICO predicates, but will come together as a human trafficking or sexual trafficking predicate.
The force aspect of violence does go to the forced sex trafficking too, so you kind of have that outlet.
Right, but not the assault, not the rape per se. It's got to be, you know, part of the bigger picture.
Monica,
and the sex trafficking depends on whom the victim is actually supposed to be for the sex trafficking. They spent the first few weeks of this case saying that it was Miss Ventura, when to me that was always kind of obvious that there were others who they could probably get a better case out of. But I agree. Where's the beef is what we're going to need to know. If they're trying to use the expert that you think that they're going to use, I think that's a huge problem, because they're trying to put, again, someone on the stand to explain why people did things that they haven't evaluated, that they who they weren't treating. It's the same thing as the prior expert that they had, who tried to explain why Miss Ventura would do things or not do things when she hadn't spent a day treating her, hadn't done an evaluation of her. That's highly unreliable, and juries are not dumb.
Okay, on that I would disagree with you. I just say on the expert, because I've actually was one of the first prosecutors in D.C. to use a domestic violence expert. As long as the expert isn't opining on the ultimate issue, saying this was, you know, wrong legally, I think it gives you a very good framework as a prosecutor to fit in the behavior of the witnesses and possibly explain this question of why didn't she report earlier.
It's fascinating to see the prosecution and someone with prosecutorial experience take one side and the defense take the other. I wonder what you make of what Jim was describing about the difficulty in pushing a RICO case forward. You have cell phones being stolen, you have cars being tracked, allegations of which. Does that not rise to the level of coercion, and does that not get them closer to a RICO case?
Right now, it's all kind of sounding like throw everything against the wall and see how much you can get to stick. It's not coming out like some organized common scheme or plan. It's not sounding, I mean, RICO cases are hard to prove anyway. And when you have a circumstance like this, where a jury may very well be looking and thinking the domestic violence is horrible, this is not anybody's great guy. They may detest the defendant, but they may not see that as the same thing as a criminal enterprise. They may think this is a horrible domestic violence relationship, and that this is a person who was a cruel boss. And those two things can be
exactly what I've been saying the whole time, man. I get what they're trying to do, but I'm not 100% seeing racketeering. I mean, sex trafficking, I'm not really seeing that also. You know, maybe I can be wrong. You know what I mean? Maybe I can be wrong, but you hear people like this right here got way more lawyer experience and, you know what I mean, criminal experience than me. So maybe I can be wrong, but I'm just outside and just, I don't know.
Be true without there being a RICO at the end of the line.
True, but a very challenging closing argument for a defense attorney. It's because you've got, by that point, there may be this critical mass of people being dangled out windows, sexual assaults, obstruction, horrible things. You get to a point, you stand up in closing and you go, yeah, that's kind of all true, but it doesn't add up to a RICO. That's a tough argument. Doesn't mean it's not. It's available for sure. We're going to hear it for sure. But it's a tough fight by that point of the trial for the jury to disconnect.
And it depends on your jury. It depends on how many people they've dangled out of windows, how many times they've been obsessed lovers who are running down the middle of the street trying to keep their wife from leaving. You have to figure out who you have as a jury in order to know what they're going to be thinking.
You ask questions during jury selection. How many of you have dangled somebody out the window?
They answer honestly.
I do wonder what you all make of victim number 3. This is someone that was set to testify. They're not going to testify, even as we've seen other witnesses come forward and make clear that they are only testifying because they're under subpoena. What's going on with victim number 3?
Well, it's hard to speculate what's going on with them. As a prosecutor, I wouldn't be too worried about that if I portrayed this atmosphere of people being really scared and intimidated, and I just kind of let that speak for itself. And going back to the point about the closing aspect of it too, I think if this trial continues to play out this way, you've got all this really explosive kind of evidence. The job for the prosecutor at the end is to stay pretty dispassionate. Don't rely too much on the emotion. Explain how the charges and the elements are met by this evidence, and don't rely too much on that explosive aspect, because that's where you get into trouble.
Appreciate all of you. Thanks so much for the conversation.
So Mia, she testified the last few days, and we already know Mia is Cassie's friend, also Diddy assistant, and also worked with Diddy. And Mia was like, her testimony, man, for me it was, I don't know, it was kind of, I don't want to say all over the place, but it was kind of mixed, because it's like, this guy did some horrific things to you. He abused you. He allegedly raped you, but you continue to be around him, also continue to send text messages saying, I love you. Even years after you start working for this guy or got fired or whatever, you still continue to say, I love you in text messages. Also made this scrapbook of just pictures and stuff, videos and stuff, and also sending happy birthday videos to Diddy, man. So for me, it's like, it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like, this guy did these horrific things, but you continue to send this guy, I love you messages. It's crazy. But then again, some people might tell me that, it's all in her mind. She was so abused so bad that it's some kind of like some kind of psychological thing or whatever. You know what I mean? And I can get that too, man, but it's still kind of crazy to me. But let's get back to some more tweets, man. Oh man. All right, let me refresh it, see what we got. Where we left off at? Okay, we left off right here about the girlfriend in the bathroom. Okay, let's go. Combs Westmoreland, your complaint says you were smoking a cigarette on the balcony, not weed. Borglin, I don't remember. See, she's saying she don't remember a lot of stuff. Like, this is crazy. But when the prosecutor asks a question, she remember everything. Westmoreland, different things. Borglin said yes. Westmoreland, you told the government you recalled he was charging at you. She said, I don't remember. Wow. Okay. Combs Westmoreland, didn't you first say Mr. Combs sexually assaulted you on the balcony? But Borglin, I showed them where his hand were. Huh? Westmoreland, you said he groped your breast, or your lawyer said it. Borglin, my lawyer said it. Oh my goodness. This is getting crazy and crazier, man. And I don't want people to get my emotion or how I'm really talking. I'm not all for Diddy. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about facts and logic. You know what I'm saying? I already know Diddy from all this funny testimonies, especially from Cassie and also Capricorn. Diddy's is a horrible, horrible guy. You know what I mean? So if this guy is found guilty, man, I'm glad. If he's not found guilty, it doesn't really matter, because I don't know this guy from a can of paint. You know what I'm saying? But this guy is a horrible person. But I'm going up just what he's being charged of. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, man. But let's look at some of the tweet messages, man. I like seeing what other people say. Let me see what they said about this. The Defense nailed this one. Wow. The Defense better keep Westmoreland on cross from now on. She is a straight up badass. Well, damn, okay. This witness is toast. Yeah. Yeah, she's toast. Now that's what happened when you prep a junkie to make up a story. They don't clearly have a good memory. Oh my goodness. Did he or did he not? When there's a prosecutor going to object, why are they letting their witness get cooked? They must be over there waving the white flag. It's crazy, man. The poor girl is getting harassed at this point. Why would her lawyers lie about sexual assault? This is sick. Sexual assault is a serious allegation, not something you just sprinkle on top of things. Any victim of sexual assault should be mad about this. Facts, man. That is facts, yo. That is truly facts, man. What she said, I showed them where his hand were. Westmoreland, you said he groped your breast, or your lawyers said it. She said, my lawyers said it. So you didn't tell you. So your lawyers is kind of making up some stuff for you. This is crazy, man. This is wild, man. This case is just wild. And I'm not saying like a lot of the witnesses that on the stand, I'm not saying they all liars and they all not credible, but most of the witnesses on the stand, man, they all do drugs. You know what I'm saying? They drugs with Cassie, did drugs with Diddy. And when they get cross-examined, they saying they don't remember stuff, man. You know what I mean? I can understand from years ago, but you will remember a guy groping you. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna remember that because that's a horrific thing that any woman, no woman would want to go through. So you're gonna remember that. Let's see what else, man. Let me see. Let me see. Let me look at something right quick. Uh, so this NBC News, man, they fall in the update on the Diddy trial also, but they giving a more in depth of the tweets and stuff that we seen. They give a more in depth. Let's see. Witness admits to regular drug use. Well, I testified that both she and Victoria had once been a very regular drug user, and there was Combs' social world. Under cross-examination, Boland confirmed she did ketamine, marijuana, ecstasy. What? Look at all these drugs. Look at all the drugs they did, man. Look at all the drugs they did. Under cross-examining, Boland confirmed she did ketamine, marijuana, ecstasy, cocaine, Vic codeine. I don't know if I heard that before. Is that codeine? Just codeine? I don't know. In this time of her life, Boland said one of her favorite drugs was a blunt with sprinkles of cocaine. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't do drugs or whatever, but I know people that smoke weed or whatever. Now, you mixing weed with cocaine, that should be like a hell of a drug. Cause I already know people. I see people that smoke weed and they high, but I never seen nobody sprinkle with cocaine. So they got to be like high. You know what I'm saying? Um, Witness testified that she was gonna. Okay, let's see. 5 minutes ago. That's crazy. The defense tried to discredit well in memory of the alleged dangling incident, asking if she hasn't kept all details of it straight. Combs' attorney Westmoreland insinuating questions that Boland couldn't recall from which direction the defendant came at her or what she might have been smoking at the time of the alleged attack. She answered, I don't remember multiple times. She basically was high. She basically was high all the time. It was crazy. She was basically high all the time, man. I don't know, man. This is just. I don't want his cases all over the damn place, man. But the cases to me, it's fucking weird, man. Let's see if we got any more tweets, man. Let me refresh. Okay, so now no more tweets right now. Let's see what we got on YouTube. See if anybody talking about anything. See what we got, man. This case is getting wild and wild, man. Yo, make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Make sure you hit the like button. I do appreciate that. Like I said, I don't go live too much. You know, I'm trying to get into going live. So bear with me if everything not is according to a plan or a professional, but I'm just trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? One day at a time, man. And I do appreciate y'all looking at my live. Doesn't matter if I have 20 people, 5 people, or just one person looking at me. I do appreciate that. You continue to rock with me. We're gonna grow. We're gonna grow together. I'm trying to look at some other stuff. This Gene Deal guy, man. This Gene Deal character, man. He was a former security guard for Diddy, and it seems like he continued to go in these podcasts and his own YouTube channel, man, just to be talking crazy, what he remembered, what happened, and stuff like that. So I don't know if they're gonna call him to trial or not. But some of the stuff he do be saying makes you think like, wow, you've been there all this time, but you never like intervened when he was beating Cassie up and stuff like that. I don't want to play a long video, just something short and sweet. And like I said, he be talking, man, but it's like I don't know. Sometimes I be listening to him, and when he be talking, it's like you was a security guard, man. Like you didn't never try to stop, intervene, none of that stuff. What was going on with Cassie? Like none of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of old, man, but it's
Skip the line and get right.
some of the stuff that he was talking about.
So I guess you got a couple of questions for me right now, don't you?
Yeah, man, I got a lot to ask you.
All right, man. Hey, before you get started, man, I know most of this stuff is going to be about the trial and everything. I did a whole show. It's called The Biblical Betrayal of Biggie Smalls, where I lined up whatever happened to Big that night that week, and how it got played out and where he lost his life. When I said that D-Rock and Puff had Big go to that party. Now, it came out in the trial about D-Rock. Cassie was mentioning a lot of stuff about D-Rock. It's a couple of stories I knew. One, D-Rock told me the story. You understand? When I first was trying to get in touch with Puff. And two, I heard what Cassie had said. But I don't want to address that because I don't know your line of questioning. But I do want to address this, that D-Rock is the one who got Big out the room. And that's when Puff had took D-Rock and promised D-Rock something. They side, Puff also gave him and do your thing, man. That was real big on this trial to me. And then D-Rock, a diner. Mel's already said that and expressed that in one of my shows before.
I'm trying to get to the part they talk about Cassie, man. I don't hear other stuff.
Now, talking to you in your face, who gonna be kissing on you, who gonna be eating food with you. What kind of deviant and and crazy mind you have to have somebody do that to somebody that you care about, you supposed to care about, that you supposed to love, man. You know, something is sick about that, brother. You can't tell me that that's some kind of fetish. You know what I'm saying? You know, he didn't outdid R. Kelly with that right there, bro. When I heard that, so that's that's an effed up subject and situation, man. To even imagine that you got somebody doing that to somebody that you supposed to care about and you supposed to be in a relationship with.
Yeah, when I heard that, that was crazy to hear. Disturbing, man.
You can't make this shit up, bro. This is made for Triple X TV. The stories that we're hearing about the things that Cassie has done, and we got these people out here believing that, you know, she made this shit up. She ain't did this with nobody. I ain't seen not one of her ex-boyfriends. I ain't seen not one of the people that she dated in high school or none of that stuff come out and say that she was doing that way before she got to Diddy. So it is disturbing, bro. It's disturbing that he could brainwash her to the point whereas that she believing that she pleasing him and all his fetishes and everything by doing some that she's doing for him, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, she testified that Diddy, he'll rub male escorts cum on his nipples. That's crazy, man.
Bro, what do you want me to say about that? You know, that's some nasty, perverted you know what I'm saying? Bro, when you that high and you into that, that's the, to me, that's the demonic, bro. That's some old crazy other world excuse me for my language. That's some crazy other world stuff that people in their right minds don't even think of stuff like that, bro. People that's not in a whole sense of being perverted, that's triple X type of shit, man. That's stuff that normal people don't even think of, man. How high do you get that you want another man juices rubbed on you after dating ejaculated or come on your girl?
Yeah, right there, man. That's some freaky, nasty shit. You know what I'm saying? After another guy that mess with your girlfriend, he ejaculated whatever, and you gonna rub it on. She gonna rub it on your nipples as a man. That's like, ugh, it's crazy, right? But that's the freaky shit that Diddy into. You know what I'm saying?
How high do you get for that shit, bro? I always say this. Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, that's crazy. But do you believe that he'll rub male escorts cum on his nipples? Like, you believe he'll do something like that?
I believe from the witness. The witness said it. The witness said that's what she had to do, and that's what she did. She's being forefront in her testimony. She's telling all the nasty stuff that she did. She said all the nasty stuff that he did. Right now, he's getting his judgment right here on earth, bro. He's hearing all the perverted things he had to see that he was doing. And now that he's not on those drugs, reality is sinking in. See, when he's all on those drugs and everything like that, it seemed like it was nothing.
Common sense says don't get weighed down by travel nonsense. Book.
But now that he's been in jail and he probably ain't getting the drugs, because we know they sneak drugs in jail too. You understand? But he probably ain't getting the drugs. He's sitting there and reality is hitting him, man. He's seeing all the stuff that he was doing, and it probably be a time that he break down in court some kind of way.
Yeah, she also testified how Diddy had an inflatable pool in his hotel room where he filled it up with baby oil for a freak off.
Yo, my man, all this is coming from the drugs. You put an inflatable pool in a hotel, you take baby oil and you fill it up, and you watch your girl get smashed out by a male escort that you didn't pay to come in to have sex with her. So you could get his semen and rub it on your body and watch and man, come on, bro. I hope this ain't the whole interview, bro. This line of questioning is nasty, bro. This line of questioning is crazy that we are witnessing one of the most perverted acts. But this was be happening behind closed doors, bro. He ain't the only one. He probably been to other parties like that. He probably seen other dudes and other people that's just as rich as he is doing some crazy shit like this, bro.
Yeah, she also said how Diddy had her heating up the baby oil in a sink with hot water for freakos.
He put her ass to work, I guess, man. It's crazy. To pee in your mouth. And she probably said before she got high, in my mouth? You want him to pee in my mouth? And then she got so high and on those drugs, she gonna allow him to do that because she'd rather take the piss in the mouth than the fist in the mouth.
Now I can listen. I know they took a lot of drugs, man. So I don't know how high it was that time. But when trial first started, the first male escort that was on there, he said him and Diddy peed in Cassie's mouth, and he wasn't doing it right. And Cassie told him how to do it. Like, don't do it like this, but do it like this right here. So Cassie was kind of giving directions on how to pee on her. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically called a golden shower. I learned that. I learned that a couple weeks ago. So yeah, it's nasty, but it's crazy. But that was basically some of the shit that Cassie and Diddy was into, man. That's what they call the freak offs.
People don't see that. Now, I'm not hating on they sexual fantasies and the shit they doing, but the psychological point of it is that this is a young girl. And I can't believe that she just want a mofo to pee in her mouth. She trying to please dude, bro. And she was doing anything to try to please him. You know what I'm saying? So I guess she was taking the piss in the mouth instead of the fist in the mouth.
And speaking of the urine situation, Escort actually testified that Diddy got mad at him for pissing on Cassie too much.
How do you determine how much piss it is? You know what I'm saying? But dude is a demon, bro. Dude is a demon. I realized he was a demon at Sean trial. And I don't care what nobody say, man. And like, when people still talk and keep on talking, if that priest ever come out and he talking, if people keep talking, you'll find out that a lot of that Gene Deal has said has been the truth and nothing but the truth. I was there. I was there when that priest or whoever he was rubbed that stuff on his head, put his hand on top of him, told him to grab the bird out the cage, the white dove, and he threw the dove in the air, and the dove acted like he ain't have no wings and hit the fucking ground. Boom! That motherfucker started walking my way. I'm looking like this, bro. I'm like, and he just walked past me. Like he didn't even see me. We going to the same place. We about to go to Shine Trial. He walked past me, bro. Didn't say nothing. And in my mind, I'm saying, and I know that's the Jason the Jason music, but in my mind, it was like the Damien music to me. And I was like, yo, that nigga is Damien. Swear for a living God, bro. That's what went through my mind. I said, yo, this nigga is Damien when that bird fell down there. And I was like, yo, that shit was crazy, man. I know that's off the subject, man, but that dude, you.
All right, man, let's get back to the trial. See what we got. Get some more tweets. Again, man, how y'all doing today? How y'all doing today? Hope y'all having a good day as I am. Okay, see what we got. All right, let me refresh. Okay, where we at? Where we left off at? Okay, boom. Combs Westmoreland. Didn't you tell these prosecutors 2 days ago that you couldn't remember what happened out on that balcony? She said, I don't remember. Westmoreland, do you remember what drugs you were on? No. Dang. Westmoreland, did you tell the government you took Molly, G, and cocaine? She said, well, she answered, that's a lot of drugs. Westmoreland said, didn't you take them all? She said, no, all on that night. I'm thinking she said not all on that night. The judge asked Mr. Westmoreland, how much more do you have? Combs Westmoreland, how much can I get? She laughs. I'd like to finish today. Judge asked, how long? Westmoreland, quiet, a bit more. Judge, jurors may go home. Okay, so court is over. Okay. What's this right here? Jury leaves. Judge, how much more? Westmoreland, 45 minutes, maybe 30. Judge, anything else? The prosecutors, Johnson asked, what she said, I emailed you during the afternoon about a presumptive order for Jane. No, this is not in document. Press OK. So I'm thinking Jane is the Jane Doe. She's another witness. She supposed to have been in today, but she wasn't there. Combs Shapiro. This is another Diddy defense team. There has been a chilling effect on media coverage, even of demeanor of the witnesses. Judge, I don't think people in the courtroom and the other courtrooms were trying to violate the order, nor do I think they were chilled. Where are the arguments? Combs Alliance Manager, I disagree that there has been no chilling effect, at least with respect to the mainstream press. Judge, I think I will be reading the order. What order? Well, any of this be docketed. Combs and Xavier Dawson, another defense team for Diddy. Now we can't even talk to him on the phone. He has the minutes, but he can't call us. It says, you have no minutes, Judge. What does MDC legal say? Donaldson, that he has no minutes. Man, what did this give Diddy a cell phone, man? You know what I'm saying? Because this is the big, huge trial. We'll just get a man a cell phone. He already going to use the cell phone anyway. Let me see. What is this right here? President Covenant above caption, like many others this morning, the jury came in, both of the gun defense, multiple communication. I don't know. All right, so Jane Doe. I don't know who Jane Doe is. Who's that next witness? I'm thinking that's gonna be KK Karam, Diddy's assistant, and I'm hearing a lot of stuff about her, man, in this trial. And she was the main person who Cassie and other assistants will go to. So she know a lot of stuff. So if she get on trial for the prosecutors, I think Diddy's in trouble. I think he's really gonna be in trouble if that sissy get on the trial. Um, Also, Diddy's ex-girlfriend Gina, I'm hearing some stuff about her too. I'm hearing that she don't want to testify, or the prosecutors can't get in touch with her. So that's crazy too, man. Wow. So I'm guessing we'll find out tomorrow who Jane Doe might be. Let me refresh and see if there's anything else. I guess that's about it. Let me see if I can see who's coming out the courtroom, man. Because we do have some people that be in the courtroom who do be going live on YouTube. I don't see nobody live yet who be's in the courtroom. I'm trying to wait. Stand back. I hear you. Sorry that somebody was calling me a potential spam. I definitely don't answer those. Let me see. I don't know. Today was today of a court, man. It was okay. You know what I'm saying? It was okay. Wasn't too bad, man. Let me okay, they're not talking about nothing. Okay. Let me see. I know this guy here. He's
I got set up in minutes and have been keeping their streaming and gaming flawless ever since.
And no, if Darla Parton had a sister from New York, it would be you, Miss Cone. Child, please, you don't tell no black woman she's sisters with a white woman. Get on up out of here. Two new academics. Patty LaBelle. Oh, yeah. You look good.
he ain't talking about nothing, my boy. He ain't talking about nothing. Let's see what they're talking about on order right quick. I'm trying to wait to see if some people come out, man. See what they give their update on the trial. Somebody that was like inside the courtroom. But the male escort, man, the Punisher, man, he was on the Cameron. Cameron is a rapper. He got his own podcast with another rapper called Mace. It is what it is. And the Punisher was one of the male escorts for Diddy and Cassie. And seeing like he doing a whirlwind of interviews everywhere. He also, because he about to have a book come out. And Cameron is getting a lot of backlash for some of the stuff that he asked the Punisher. And let's play that right quick. then we'll look at some other stuff.
You think Jay's going to want to hang out with him? Workers that been hired. It's Roe.
Cyrus Rowe.
Word, man.
2019.
You never came down to Lenox? You never came to the park or nothing? There, you right up the block from me, man.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, man. Yo, so let me ask you, how'd you start with being a male dancer? How did that career become how did that become a choice for a career path for you?
Yo, really, man, off of some young man sucker shit, man. I broke up with my girlfriend, and the reason why we broke up was she started working in the strip club, right? So she working in the strip club, came home, like, yo, I'm meeting a bunch of dudes, like, I'm expendable, you know? And that young 21-year-old mind was on some, yo, I show her I'm gonna get on the stripper shit too.
Right.
And I really went hard to try to get in the business. And actually when I got in it and you see all of the women and you can make some paper if you do it the right way,
right,
it was like best breakup ever, man. So, 30 years long that hustle.
That's what's up. So how did the first time Puff and Cassie get in contact with you?
Yo, they called up like they was just hiring a regular party. Cassie hit me directly, said her name was Janet, and said it was her birthday. So her husband said she could hire a dancer. So I just booked it like a regular party. At the time, it was like $200. I gave her a quote. She said she was going to be there with some friends. They gave me an address and the time to show up. And I'm thinking I'm showing up to do a party, just a regular little striptease for a birthday girl.
But like, that's a great answer. How do they find you? Like, is it ads, internet? Like, how do they even track somebody like you down?
Oh yeah, yo, all my marketing and stuff in my business is like SEO, so Google searches. So if you go online in the New York City area and you put in male strippers for hire or whatever, my website's gonna come up. So they just clicked on the website and called the number, and I just happened to pick up the phone. I don't think they were looking for me specifically.
Right.
I just picked up the phone.
Got you. Let's say the first time, where did these events usually happen at? Puff's house, Cassie's house, hotel? Like, where did these events happen at?
I was all super high-end hotels.
Gotcha.
So I remember it was the Trump Tower, Essex House, the London Hotel, the Gramercy Hotel. It was another hotel, Central Park West. I don't know, I don't remember the name, but they were all along the lines of super high-end, super suites. One of the suites, man, in the London Hotel, it was so crazy when I got out of it. I Googled it, and the joint was like $30K a night, yo.
Wow.
I never seen nothing like this in my life, man. The hotel room looked like, you know that scene in the Titanic when they walk in that ballroom and the stairway well comes down?
Right.
Like the hotel room was crazy, man.
How often did they call you or book you?
Stop dreaming, start booking.
So this is the first escort that was on trial for Cassie and Diddy, man. He's doing a lot of interviews.
Like I said in my I can't remember the exact amount of time. So I estimated between 8 and 12 times, but it would be like every few months. But it would be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like I would come Friday night, then they come back Saturday night, then come back Sunday, and then I might not be called for 3-4 months, and then they'll just pop up. So at the time, I thought they lived out of town. You know, they would. She would call me from a Cali number, so I assumed they were out of state. And she basically said, "Yo, can I hit you when we're in town?"
Right.
But it would be multiple nights in a row, but months in between.
Right. And if some of these questions that I asked you may seem repeated because you've been asked these same questions, I just want, we have a different audience from with the interviews you've done, and some people may not know in the trial or what's happening. So some of these questions, I don't want to seem like it's redundant if you answer them 100 times this week. So I was reading that in the beginning, you didn't even know what was going on, that it was even Puff was participating. Could you explain your first time going to one of these events?
Yeah, so I really believe they were a married couple. Like when I got there, I didn't recognize Cassie.
Right.
Like I saw her face, she looked familiar, but honestly, when I saw her, I thought she was Megan Good.
Right.
Like if I was gonna pin, I was like, yo, I think this is Megan Good. But then when I looked on the Google, Megan Good was much thicker. So I couldn't really figure it out. So, and then when she said her husband, when Puff walks out to finally, do his voyeur thing and see what's going on.
So hold on real quick. It didn't start with Puff in the room.
Nah, it never started with him in the room.
Okay.
It would only be me and her. And she said at some point, her husband's going to walk in and I'm not supposed to acknowledge him, look at him, act like he's not even in the room.
Right.
So we'll be like on the couch, let's say on one end of the room, and then like on the far end of the room, it'll be like a table with a chair. And eventually he'll come in the room and like sit in the area, of course, the room, like watching, and we're supposed to act like he's not there.
How often, pardon me, not how often, how long did it take until you realized that it was Diddy?
Bro, like, I want to say like over a year.
Get the fuck out of here. A whole year? Why? So let me, how long, okay, let's, I want to stick to that for a second, but how long did you know till it was Cassie?
So the minute I found out it was Diddy, that's when I knew it was Cassie.
So it took a year for you to find out for Cassie as well?
Yeah, yo, okay. I didn't recognize it. Like when I jumped out of it, I did try to do the Google searches. Like I wanted to try to figure out who it was, right. But I'm Googling a married couple.
Right.
So every result I'm getting is not leading me to the right places because they're not married.
Got you.
So then, and I never found out with a visual cue. It was a hotel, the ex's house, and I would get there, let's say 2 a.m, and sometimes nothing would pop off for hours. So in this case, they threw me in like an extra room in the suite. Mm-hmm. And just to kill time, I happened to cut on the TV, and the TV had a welcome message. So the TV said, ex's house would like to welcome Mr. Sean Combs. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I had no idea, man.
So that's how you found out that it was Cassie and Diddy by just cutting on the TV and seeing the introduction on the television. Wow.
On the TV.
Wow. I seen also in the transcripts that you would say that it was just a sex scene in the beginning. Nothing, no intercourse. How long until you had actual intercourse? What was happening in the first few sessions when it wasn't any intercourse?
Nah, it was only the first session where it wasn't intercourse.
Okay, so 10 times, one time it was only not intercourse the first time.
The first time. And it was offered, but I was so bugged out. Like this wasn't my hustle, right? So right. I'm really in there thinking this is a married couple and they want to do some voyeur sexy scene. Mm-hmm. So we did the set up on the couches, the baby oil rub down or whatever. And then at some point, Puff jumped up. I didn't know it was him. He left the room. She left the room to talk to him. And she came back like, yo, that was perfect. We happy. We good. Mm-hmm. And then she said to me, yo, do you want to finish? Meaning, I guess, do I want to bust a nut out? You know what I'm saying? Right. And my first example, I'm trying to be professional. Like, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, if y'all good, I'm good. This ain't about me. And I just left, but she did say, all right, well, when we get back in town, we want to hit you again. Is it okay? I'm like, yeah, I just got $2K to rub down like a super bad chick. So of course I'm down if you want to hit me back. But it was offered to me the first time, and I actually turned it down, trying to be on some professional.
Was baby oil mandatory?
Mandatory,
Yeah, he got a baby oil. That's just mandatory. I seen also in the transcripts that you said it was just supposed to be like a sexy scene, meaning that Puff would tell you to move the candles a certain way, or tell her to move the candles a certain way for lighting purposes for his visual. Could you explain that?
Ugstapated.
So again, this is the first escort that was on trial for Diddy. And Cameron is a rapper right here interviewing him. Cameron got some backlash for some of the questions that he was asking this male escort.
Yeah, so like when I first got in there, she made it clear that this was a scene we were setting up for her husband.
Okay.
So, it was like couches, all the furniture in the suite was covered in sheets. Like everything was covered in sheets. So it was like a single chair across from like a big sofa. And we were supposed to sit on there and I'm supposed to put oil on myself. She's supposed to do the same. And then at some point we'll rub it on each other and we doing little like masturbating. I'm masturbating, she's masturbating, but you could tell it was an act.
Right.
Like we're like in character, like one of them corny Cinemax movies. You know what I'm saying? Like the sex scene in the little Cinemax movies. So we're trying to make it look like the part, and then he would give subtle cues because he's across the room and the room's dark, everything's candle lit, and he'll say like, yo, move a little bit, yo, move the candle, I can't really see, or move the body. And he would never talk to me, not one word to me.
So Diddy would be in the room, but Diddy would be like directing them. You know what I'm saying? Watching another man sleep with your girlfriend, you directing this guy to do certain things in the room while you there watching her be just, man, this is some crazy shit, man.
Only to her, and if it's instructions for me, it goes to her and she tells me. So it was like a real scripted kind of routine, and it really went like that every single time.
So he was basically orchestrating a sex scene without directly talking to you, but telling her certain things.
Exactly.
Wow. Crazy. I seen also in the transcript, or I actually heard you talk about this, that Puff will have the Muslim mask on and be naked from the neck down. What was that like? Pause.
Bro, that was like the weirdest shit ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's already weird knowing like a dude coming in the room, But, I'm messing with the chick, and mind you, I'm seeing all this peripheral.
Right.
So it's extra crazy because it's not straight on. So it's at the corner of my eye. I'm like, yo, this dude got on like a veil, and he's half the time he's beating off and he's walking side to side. So it was definitely a difficult space to try to be in. But I ain't no front, bro. At the time, I'm greedy. I want this bread. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the scenario, and I'm trying to make it work. But it was tough, man. It was tough.
It was just a veil. Somebody told me he had a Yankee fitted over the veil, everything. So everything was just covering the face, super duper pause, and naked from the neck down every single time.
Every single time, man. So that's a little construed, right? It was a veil, just period. Like the ones the Muslim women wear, so you don't see anything but the eyes. But I think at some point after like the year and change, and it was a while, he wore the veil for a minute.
Right.
I think they might have figured out. I saw the TV, and at some point he just changed to a Yankee fitted. So at some point he dropped the veil, and I guess he knew. Maybe he saw the TV on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I probably left it, and I guess he figured out. Homie figured it out. So he stopped wearing a veil, and he would just like rock a fitted.
Right. I also seen that you say when you and her were doing what you guys were doing, he would be pacing back and forth with a bottle of Astroglide.
Yeah, man. Every time, it was obviously something he was into in terms of visually watching this. So
what was being done with the Astroglide though? Paul.
I guess he's using it as lubricant to beat off. You know what I'm saying? That was, he's pleasuring himself during the action. So obviously he's using that.
As we know, man, Diddy, not a lot of videos, but photos that we seen from the trial, there'd be a lot of baby oil and a lot of Astroglide bottles in the rooms, man. And also there was a photo with a rubber duck. Yeah.
that for Lou.
Do you consider Puff a cuckold?
Yeah, I mean, the whole time, that's what I thought it was.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was.
It's because you keep using the word voyeur. This is cuckold activity.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, we're going to step it up to cuckold.
Yeah. So I'm saying voyeur because that's what she said to me.
Right.
Like when I came in.
You know why? Because they down. You know why? Because voyeur don't seem as bad as cuckold. So they downplay it with the I'm just a voyeur. Nah, you was an official cuckold, nigga. Because voyeur can mean you watching anybody, not your girl. Cuckold is when your girl is in play. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he's sound cuckoldish, man. Did Puff ever participate?
Nah, man. Nah, he stayed across the room. Like I said in my testimony, the closest he got to actual action, like it was one time, all this stuff, almost every session happened in the living room, but it was one specific one where we got moved to the bedroom, me and her.
Mm-hmm.
So in the bedroom, he's in a closer proximity because he's walking around the bed. And at some point, like almost at like the strip club, he took like a stack of hundreds and just threw it on the bed while we was
Hey everybody, my name is Derek from Battleborn Batteries, and today we're
when me and her was having sex, and we both was like what's going on? And he just was like, nah, I'm enjoying this shit. And we just kept doing what we was doing.
Right. So the nigga basically, pardon me, I'm gathering the information as we talk. Y'all in the bed, he's circling the room, takes out sack of hundred, just throw it on the bed.
Throw it on the bed.
Wow. It's crazy. Sorry about that. I was just thinking, what was the most money you made doing this with them?
Every single time I came, it was $1,200 or $2,000. But like I said, sometimes I could come 3 days in a row.
Right. So
so it would be $1,200, $2,000, $1,200 for that. You know what I'm saying?
For that session.
3 days. Yeah, exactly.
Got you. And it would last 2.
And they would have like freak offs for like it could be 1 day, and it could be 2 days, but also it could be like 4 days straight that they would have these freak offs, man. And Cassie would be so tired, man. She would have to take some they would have to give her some thing to give her some more level, some energy or whatever.
2-3 days?
Yeah, 2-3 days, but not straight. Like a few hours, I'll go home, you'll come back again. A few hours, I'll go home, come back again. You know?
That nigga's on time. That nigga's on clockwork. That's a wild nigga, man. I also seen that you say Cassie said she felt comfortable with you. Did you take that as she liked you?
Not really. I knew it was clear, man. This was something we were setting up for her dude, right? At the time, I'm thinking her husband, because she said this to me the very first encounter, right? So I didn't think it was a personable, she's into me. But obviously, if this is something that has to be done based on their sexual fetish, well, she's going to do it with somebody that, all right, I'm comfortable with this dude, you know?
Right.
So I always took it as, however the vibe was, however things went, it worked for her. So that's why she said, I want to call you back, you know?
Got you. Did Puff ever appear jealous while you guys were having intercourse or participating with each other?
Not at all, man. Not at all. It was like good to go. Like I told you, the focus was making sure he got the right visuals, the lighting was right, put more baby oil on. Like he was into it from an enjoyment standpoint, not. Yeah.
So, but you saying he basically never was jealous. Did Cassie ever reach out to you without Puff?
Nah. Nah, I was strictly busy. And honestly, man,
It's a good question.
I wasn't even trying to play that, get caught up in some type of fantasy. I know one of the other dudes got caught up in some fantasy of they could be together. I knew what it was, man.
Right.
She with a dude and $30,000 a night sweets. Like I move, I can pull it off with chicks, but you know, that's a tough act to follow. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I can definitely understand what he's saying. He was just basically there to do a job and get paid and get up out of there. No real not real affection, but it's like he didn't try to draw any not romance, but like some type of romantic affection or whatever towards Cassie. You know what I'm saying? Talk outside of work. You know what I mean? Let me have sex with you without Diddy there. You know what I mean? He was just there basically doing his job. I can get what he's saying because Diddy's a billionaire, so it's like you ain't got the money he got. You know what I mean?
Right.
I saw it as an opportunity, man, and I was just trying to come through to, you know, come up whatever way I could with that easy money, how I saw it.
Yeah, I ain't knocking my nigga. How was that pussy though?
Yo, I didn't expect him to say that. I didn't expect. Wow.
I mean, bro, even if it was fire.
Bro, was the pussy good, family? Let's stop the political shit. We was Harlem time, my nigga. You 39th Street on 40th. Was the pussy, how was that pussy, my nigga?
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I couldn't get there, bro.
Okay.
Like I got a dude pacing back and forth, beating his joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My peripherals, my spider senses is wilding. You know what I'm saying? And especially when I found out it was Puff. When I found out it was Puff, it got all the way worse because if you grew up in Harlem, if you grew up in that era, I can't validate it, but everybody knows there's rumors, right? There's rumors that he could be, you know, interested in dudes. So the whole time I'm semi-paranoid. Like I wrote in my book, bro, for real. I got a hearing problem.
Right.
And sometimes when he would give her directions, I would hear like something completely different. Like he'll say, yo, I like the position you in. And I'm like, yo, did he just say I wish I could penetrate him? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yo, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. But then again, it's like there was one instance that they said that Diddy and Cassie, Diddy and the male escort was messing with Cassie at the same time. And I think the guy looked at Diddy in the face or looked at him in the eyes. And Diddy said, man, what you looking at me for, man? Like, you know what I'm saying? But in this instance right here, you know, I don't know about anybody else, but I never heard Diddy and Cassie or just Diddy into these type of stuff right here. Letting another man mess with his girlfriend and why he watching. I didn't know all that. So my first thought is like, is he like bi? Like he like seeing another guy penetrate his girl? Do he like looking at a man's private part? You know what I'm saying? So that kind of gave me a sense of, if this guy, I don't say he's gay because he got kids and he mess with women. So I'm going to say he bi, you know? So this incident rare is crazy.
I'm hearing like, yo, hold on, wait, what did you just say? Like,
so basically, you never could get comfortable because. So let's just be clear and get the elephant out the room for the audience. You're not gay? You're saying?
Absolutely not. Bro.
Right. So therefore, you're saying that already, just to put everything into perspective, that you're there for this chicken to get this money. You don't know it's Puff this whole time. So you're already thinking like, okay, this nigga's being weird, whoever it is, and I got to keep an eye out for him because we don't know what type, in case he want to, if he get mad, if he want to join. I'm not with none of that. I'm here to bone your bitch like you paid me to do and stay the fuck out of it. But what you're saying is the paranoia intensified once you found out it was Puff and you like, oh, hold on, now this shit done got to 10 because not only am I fucking this nigga girl.
Oh my goodness, fucking ass, man. It's ass.
But it's Puff. So now you saying you hearing shit that you wasn't hearing, and now you can't really enjoy the pussy like you want to enjoy it. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Like I'm not intimately connected, yo. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I don't think I got a real erection the entire time.
Right.
Like I was loading up on any pill, anything that I could take. just to get there because I could not connect.
Yeah, we
You know
going.
what I'm saying? It was too paranoid, it was official paranoid, bro. Like,
Right.
because I'm not used to being in that situation. And then it's like homie got on the veil and butt naked. And then like I said, I find out it's Puff. And then it's the rumors. So real talk, I'm like, yo, I don't want this to go left.
Right.
So,
well, listen, man, we gonna get you some pink horsepower because it don't matter what the situation is. That joint work. We gonna, you from the block. We'll send you a case up there. Nah, you already, nigga. That ain't about nothing. Did you go raw ever?
yo, bro, yeah, for real, bro. That same day when he threw the stack of hundreds,
right?
Like that was like we were on the bed and I started out, I'm eating a box, right? And after you would tell it was like some excitement, some connection. So when I pop up, she's scooting towards me for the penetration, and she kind of looked at him, and he was like, "Yo, go ahead, have a good time." And I was wild reckless. I just
right.
It was what it was.
So it's only one time you went raw. You repeatedly went.
That was, let's say that was the fourth time, and then it was every time to the last time.
Got you. Gotta go raw sometime. You gotta go raw and cast.
That's another thing that I thought was crazy. That a lot of male escorts that was messing with Cassie, man, they did it unprotected, and that was another thing.
It be like that, my nigga. Some of my co-hosts, they got a couple questions for you, but I got one more question before they ask you a couple questions. We hear about 50's baby mom, Daphne, being involved in some of these things. Did you ever fuck Daphne, 50 Cent's baby mother?
Nah, every time I was called or involved in any way, it was only Cassie specifically.
All right, cool, man. Hey, yo, my man Larry, Sheree, you got a question for him? We get ready to wrap this up. Sheree, you've been great, man, and thank you for participating. A couple more questions before we get you out of here. And also, we want to talk about your book before you go as well.
I appreciate it.
Yo, what's good, fam? So my question is, you said on the first night, that she asked you if you wanted to continue, and you said no. So I'm asking is, she wanted to continue. Was Puff there? So basically, I'm saying, did she want to do it without Puff?
So when she came back in the room and asked me, her actual words was, "Do you want to finish?" Right? So I found out later, finish meant me busting the nut.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So she offered, but like I said, I just turned it down. And if I'm keeping it 100, part of the reason why I turned it down is because I was struggling to get my joint up and hold an erection anyway, because homie got on the veil. I don't know who it is. He's pacing back and forth. So I couldn't get in that zone anyway. So I turned it down. Obviously I'm trying to be professional or whatever, but at the same time, I don't think I could have finished if I wanted to.
But he wasn't in the room with you anymore.
He wasn't, but what I would assume what would have happened was she would have said, "Do I want to?" And if I would have started, he would have walked back in.
All right, then I got two more. So the other one was when he threw a stack of money on. On you, were you able to keep that money? Was that the most money that he threw on you? Was that like, well, you said it was a stack of hundreds, like how like you said earlier, 1,200 to 2,000. Was it more than that, or was that the 1,200 to 2,000? Because when I think of a stack, I think of like 5,000, 10,000.
Nah, it wasn't a stack. It was, I believe it was 2,000. And honestly, I thought that was a day I was going to really make a lot of bread because the 2,000 got thrown on the bed, was put to the side. As soon as we finished, it was handed to me. So I was hoping then she was going to come because she would come at the end of the night and pay me again. And that'd be an additional money. But that 2,000 ended up just being the money I got. So it wasn't like a super payday of a session. So I just pretty much got my money in advance, you know.
I got you. My last question is, when all this kind of came about, you know, there's this history now of Puff being really violent. Were you scared to testify? Are you scared of retribution? Are you like was that an issue for you to go testify?
Common sense says don't get weighed down by.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you have to consider, right? But look, what I understand is the details of what went on. Obviously, they're going to be embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? In terms of what happened in those encounters, and you know, I got to testify to what happened. But the truth of the matter is, I don't feel like I was biased or let's say, threw him under the bus, right? You know, none of my testimony is saying she was abused, you know, there was aggression, there was, it was not consented. You know what I'm saying? She was under the influence of the drugs, because that's just not true, right? Like everything seemed in the right mind. Everybody seemed cool. All my communications and everything with her was on point. So honestly, I thought me testifying my actual facts actually probably benefited to the defense. To this day, I'm still not exactly sure why the prosecution wanted me to testify. So I felt like as long as I go up there and say exactly what happened, again, there's going to be an embarrassing element to it. But I don't think I don't think my testimony seemed biased as if I was trying to do anything other than telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? Not like framing things, you know what I'm saying, to go out of my way to put them in a bad light or put anybody in a light other than what the facts were.
Cool. And my other co-host, PT, got a couple questions?
Yeah, what's going on, family? The question I wanted to ask you was, when she first told you in your first encounter, when she hit you and she told you it was for her husband, as you progressed and kept going with her after these dates, at any point did you think she enjoyed it as well as Puff or more than Puff?
So there was only one time where I can, you know, I testified to it also, where it was clear to me that I thought she enjoyed it. Like, and that was the first time we were at Raw and he threw the money and stuff like that. Because, you know, you obviously, we fellas, we mess with chicks. You know the mannerisms when it's a connection and when it's not, right? So, but I could say that's the only time it was overtly, I thought, and this is my perspective, that she was enjoying it. The other times, it was clear it was acting. We were putting on a show. Not that she was against it, but, you know, I'm not going to, like, go on no ego trip like, oh, she was loving it, she was loving me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get those vibes. We were putting on a show.
All right, second question. When he gave y'all the permission to go Raw the first time, right? Because you said it continued after that. Once you started going Raw repetitively, did he give you instructions where you had to nut at or you came in her?
Yeah, so I didn't get the instructions from him, but it was instructions from her, like specifically. Every time I nutted, I had to nut in or around the outside of her box. Like, so on her clit, on the lips, everything, and to that degree on the outside of her vagina. And that was clockwork. It had to be done like that every single time. And actually, it was kind of mandatory. Like the session could not be over unless I nutted, and I had to nut on the outside of her vagina. Like,
you couldn't leave until that happened?
Yeah, that was like mandatory though. It was like,
Wow.
So that gotta happen for the session to be over.
And those instructions that she gave you, they came from him, or they was from both of them, or just her?
I mean, like I said, I only ever spoke to her. So the instructions came from her.
Stop dreaming.
I don't know. This sounds crazy, man. Crazy and just weird. But that's a freak off. You know what I'm saying? That's what they enjoy. That's what Cassie enjoyed. That's what Diddy enjoyed also. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Good. Yo, good. Yo, Ray, man. So before we get you out of here, tell us a little bit about your book.
This whole situation is wild, but that was the first male escort that was on trial, and how he explained it is like she wasn't really forced into this situation. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what happened after him. Maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe she didn't want to do it no more. But in the instance right here, he's telling like, listen, she was into it. You know what I'm saying? She wanted it. She wasn't forced. It was just kind of weird to him because he never seen a guy that, you know what I'm saying, right there watching him covered up, face right there, face and head, whatever, covered up, just watching him walking around and stuff like that. So he was nervous. So I definitely can understand that, man. So this whole situation is wild. But let's see if we can get some more people, man, that see who's like outside of the court. If anybody, let's get some updates right quick. Let's see. I like Amal Winger. He's pretty funny.
Week. So we have a lot of stuff going on. So just rock with me, work with me. We're moving around. So we're doing this show. We're doing multiple shows today. I'm happy. I'm grateful. Shout out to everybody. So this is why we're early today. Yesterday I did take off because it was my birthday. I want to shout out to each and every person.
So this guy here, he's always inside the courtroom. One of them Cassie drug dealers. Let me look at this right quick. Let me see what they talking about. Ray J. Let's see. We'll come back to him. I don't want to play nothing too long.
So it has been a very out-of-pocket week for Diddy. You know, the trial has just been going off the chain. Trump was about to pardon them. 50 Cent said what he said. Ray J's been talking about it. Suge Knight said Ray J was his supporting Diddy's lover. And Ray J took to the internet to respond to people who are mad at him because he's supporting Diddy.
Gets mad at me because I'm supporting Diddy. Got weird ass shit to say about me supporting Puff. Not gonna be long on here. I just need to clip this on Instagram real quick. I ain't gonna be on here long. I know it's early in the morning, but I'm a petty with me. If he gonna say some shit about me and I ain't gonna go crazy and respond, then don't think that it's okay because I'm petty as.
Yeah, Brandy, come get your brother because he's over here wilding. But this comes right after all his interviews with Piers Morgan, his interview with Amber Rose. Man, take a look at some of this stuff.
And I feel like it's becoming a circus act for stuff that doesn't make any sense for what Diddy's being charged for. I mean, there's a lot of bad things happening, and we all agree with that. But a RICO, racketeering, sex trafficking, like I've been with Diddy a long time. And if I haven't seen any of these kind of heinous acts happening, then where was I when it was happening? If you told me that the Kardashians was being charged for racketeering, I might believe it.
So now he's saying free Diddy. Man, then he said the Kardashians were more susceptible for a RICO charge than Diddy? I'm confused.
In today's news, Suge was calling me gay. Sammy and Puffy were lovers. Wow.
That's not true.
But that's how low you want to go.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Suge,
Now,
please.
don't get me wrong, I do love Puff.
Yeah.
But being lover, Suge, and you know you've been loving everybody in the pen, is not okay, bro.
Do you think Suge is like with guys in
Hold on, he said that Suge has been loving everybody in the pen. Come on.
prison?
Of course.
Do you think he's in prison?
Honestly, I don't think Suge.
But he's doing it. He's not doing the bending.
I ain't saying Suge.
Wait a minute. So Amber Rose just voluntarily said that, asked Ray J, does she think that he's getting bussy in jail? And then Ray J said yes.
He's in jail and out of jail. It's okay.
That's crazy.
Not only just, but not only.
And he said that he been smashing dudes inside jail and out of jail for a long time. Come on, bro. Why are you talking a little crazy about Suge? Suge. Man, he lucky Suge ain't out.
Yeah, he even take.
Like him?
I guess, yeah. I mean,
Oh, can we say that on here?
I don't want to say that because I don't want. That's where it gets criminal. But I know it was been taken. He's been
Taken there.
taken.
Okay. Wow.
That's the only when I said assets being taken. That's the only person that came to mind when I was saying that to the injuries. I just didn't say it was him until we start talking records. The homie will probably be out 2038.
Really?
Well, 2034 he'll be up for parole. So you know what I'm saying?
They ain't letting him out, right?
Like if I get at me then in 2034, I don't know. I ain't no big. I probably could take the fade then. In 2034,
he gonna be so old.
But that's what I said. But
doesn't he have life? That's only 10 years from now.
That's when I can take
9
the fade.
years.
When he like 90. You know
He'll be dead and gone by then.
I can take Suge on when he like 84. You know what I'm saying? But I can't. You know. But at the end of the day, Suge, you did. You inspired me. We made money together. We rode together. You came over every Christmas. Like you was really family until you started just saying all that stuff, and you hurt me. You hurt me with that, and that's why I responded with some of the most outlandish shit I said because everything I said was true. But you know what you've been doing. Now, it's not cool to talk about as a sweet family. I flew into Vegas with Puffy when I got into it with Fabulous. When Puffy then was busy after the Fabulous fight, I called you, and when we went and looked at the Fabulous, so I was with Puffy and Suge in the same day because both of them was my friend.
But why do you think Suge is saying this now? Like he's just he's just bored or like what is it?
I don't know, man.
He just wants some clout.
Well, if you Google Ray J and Suge and you Google Life Rights, if you Google Ray J and Suge now, it'll be me going big. Google Ray J and Suge and you Google the Life Rights, you can find all of his life rights over to me. And we did some good deals. There was a couple of weird ones going on, so I signed the life rights back over to him because I didn't want to be the one liable for all the other things that was going on that I had nothing to do. But he signed his life rights over to me 100%.
Okay.
I could have kept them. But
Right.
I didn't because I didn't want that stain and I didn't want that on my, you know what I'm saying, just on my conscience.
So, to be honest with you, man, I think Ray J is just upset that Suge Knight said what he said. I don't even think any of these allegations are true.
All right, man. That's So Ray J is standing up for Puff, and Suge Knight is saying Ray J is gay. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. But let's look at somebody who was in the courtroom, man.
Use kayak.
See what she talking about.
This is what Tyrone Blackburn wrote. That when he picked her up to dangle her off the balcony, he grabbed her by her breasts and he groped her breasts and he used that. And she's like, they said, they basically try to say, were you essayed? Y'all, that's not essay. That's not essay. First of all, this lady is shaped like a linebacker, like a little munchkin linebacker. She's 4'11". She dresses like a boy. She's a gay lady, you know, but she's one of the gay ladies that dresses like a boy, not like a girl. She had on a suit today, like pants and everything. Okay? Pants. She definitely, if she's the one that got the strap on, that would be it. It might have been in her pants. I don't know. Is there any metal in there? Because she had to go through the lie detector. Somebody said body shaming. I'm not body shaming. I am describing her physique. And therefore, when you pick her up, I want you to think of like if you're grabbing someone angry, she's like broad shoulders, you're grabbing her. She's little. So if you're gonna grab her, I could see how she could be grabbed here or here, here or here, whatever it is. Thank you so much for this super chat. Oh my gosh, thank you. I appreciate it immensely. So that, yeah, somebody said I love it. You can, it is.
So I'm thinking she talking about when they said when allegedly Diddy threw her on the balcony.
This is not body shaming. She is like literally she's shaped like a square. So you're gonna either grab her here at the shoulders, you could grab her here, or you could grab her here. I think Diddy probably grabbed her somewhere. She's a munchkin. And if you're doing this, like if you're dangling someone like this, I could see where you could end up grabbing some bosom. Yeah, grabbing some bosom. The bosom could get in your hands. Some bosom could get in your hands. But this lady, you can tell she don't mess with men like that. She don't. But I don't think that was SA. And I think that was a huge stretch of her attorney to claim it. And you could tell while she was on the stand, she wasn't with it. You could also tell she did not read or probably receive, kind of like a SpongeBob. But not she is attractive for a gay lady. I know other gay ladies will probably love it. Simone, those calling body shaming must be new hair and don't get my humor. Exactly. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not. So what I'm saying is with the SA allegation as well, this is not the channel for you if you're like a super serious person. I'm serious about my explanations of the law and so forth. But like as a human being, no, I'm a ridiculous person. I literally was voted class clown of Cornell Law School class that I graduated. Yes, that was the class favorite. I was like, oh, they called me for the nomination. I was like, oh, they're like, yeah, you've been nominated as a class favorite. I was like, what is it? Like prettiest, most likely to succeed. And they were like, no, class clown. But I also think that y'all just like, that is the version of SA. Let me tell you, this woman, when she realized that was in there, her response was good. They said, so did you realize he said in the allegation that he SA'd you. And she said, there were a lot of things he did that I disagreed with. That's why I got another lawyer. I said, get him, girl. Get him. There you go, you told her. But see, this is Nicole Westmoreland. Remember, Nicole Westmoreland talks to you like your mama, like a black mama who doesn't want to beat you but will if you push her. You know what I'm talking about? Real professional. Like she's the type to just look at you at church and you're gonna correct your behavior. That's what it's like, okay? So Nicole wasn't letting up when she said, I said, so Nicole was like, so you knew this was inaccurate and you didn't correct it, did you? The truth of the matter is you couldn't, right? She did though. She corrected it by getting another lawyer. Someone said it could be battery, it could be, but at the end of the day, the point was her issue as the witness. She never was claiming SA. If there was ever a time to claim SA, she would have done that on her direct testimony with the prosecution, but she didn't. Instead, really in part, that section made it seem like she couldn't be trusted because she would allow falsities about the facts pertaining to her to persist. When that wasn't true, because that's why she got a second lawyer. So on redirect tomorrow, I hope that the prosecution gives her ample time to clarify and correct that when it came to that bombshell SA allegation, that was not something that she herself perpetrated. It was something that her attorney did. She disagreed with him. She got another one. And at no point on the stand did she ever try and perpetuate that lie. So I think
I mean, she couldn't because she was caught in the lie. So why would she try to lie again? Like own up to it. You know what I'm saying? If you wasn't sexual assaulted, then you wasn't sexual assaulted. So why would she try to like lie and like try to clear it up? What do you like?
Secondly, somebody said, did they pay these witnesses? Secondly, I remember I kept saying, y'all, I wasn't sure. I wasn't seeing what the point was of putting Brianna on the stand. She was going to talk about Diddy whooping Cassie's tail and being violent by dingle dangling her because he's not being tried for the dingle dangle. for the attempted, dangling her off the balcony. First of all, I do believe her. I do believe that happened. That absolutely sounds like something that Diddy would do. It is very Diddy-esque. But in that, I think overall, now that I listened to all the testimony, there was another significant section. Let me tell you what it is. That section went into the fact that after he dangled her off that balcony, she then was going to file a civil lawsuit against him, right? And she started that process. She let whoever his people were know. He then had one of their meetings, a guy named Rob, who Dante, the prime witness, Deontay, just was whack, not that talented, not that good. Rob calls her and basically tried to get her to settle on behalf of Diddy. Now, that made me think that perhaps the bigger goal of them putting her on the stand was putting up proof of tampering with a witness. Remember, tampering with a witness is one of the RICO crimes that they can prove up to get to the 2 RICO crimes. The second crime that it may help was bribery. So I don't know if perhaps they're saying, oh, this was bribery because he tried to use money to make this go away. Now that would be better. Context would make more sense than her just being another redundant witness sitting up there talking about Diddy is violent. Yeah, we know.
I mean, that's basically what she was saying. And come to find out that he didn't really sexual assault her, he just grabbed her or some shit. I don't know. I looked at somebody else right quick. I know this guy here. He's pretty funny.
It's got 1,000 last 2 times.
I don't think they be having 1,000 damn ads.
Then Miss Miser says this in front of the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Brianna, your testimony today doesn't match what you put in your civil lawsuit. That's what Miss Miser said. She brought it out front. Now, here we go. Cross-examination. Nicole Westmoreland, cross-examination. Hold up, I gotta get my phone right there because I don't want nobody to steal my phone. Hold up. Y'all hear that Michael Jackson back there? I don't own the rights to none of this music. Y'all hear that Michael Jackson? Nicole Westmoreland, cross-examination. Hey, yo, everybody put fire in the live chat. Put flames. Put some flames in there. Where my fire at? Put that fire in there for Nicole Westmoreland. Check me out. There it go. Here come the heat. Here come the heat. Nicole Westmoreland is the one that dismantled Dawn Rashad. Busted her like 13 lies. Attorney Westmoreland comes up. Right from the door. You have immunity right now, right, Brianna? Yes. You understand that you could not be prosecuted if you tell the truth. But if you lie, you could be charged for perjury. Do you understand that? Yes. And then this is what Nicole said. Who gets to decide if you are lying? And Brianna said, the prosecutors. So she finna get busted in a whole bunch of lies, but she's not gonna get prosecuted because she's a government witness, like all the other government witnesses that have committed perjury. Capricorn Clark, Dawn Rashad, Nia, David James, Deontay Nash, all of them didn't lie. Brianna, you met Cassie at Diamond Supply. You were the head graphic designer at Diamond Supply. How much was your salary? No, Nicole told her your salary was $75,000 a year. Cassie was hired by Diamond Supply to work underneath you as a co-designer but she was paid more than you. You and Cassie were working on a clothing line together. The first time you went to Cassie's apartment, y'all were working on a t-shirt design. Cassie called you and asked you to come over. You go by Cassie's house. You decide to do a photo shoot with Cassie. You suggested that Cassie do a photo shoot in the pool with just a t-shirt on. Brianna, isn't it true that at that moment you were comfortable? You felt you and Cassie were comfortable with each other? She said, who said that? Nicole Westmoreland. You said that. She said, I don't remember saying that. Nicole Westmoreland. Well, let me refresh your memory. When you met with federal prosecutors, can you see that right there? Can you read that? It said at that moment, when you and Cassie did the photo shoot in the pool with just a t-shirt, all Cassie had on was a t-shirt. You understand? You felt comfortable with Cassie. After Nicole Westmoreland showed her the paperwork, she said, oh, okay, yeah, I said that. Brianna, isn't it true that you spent a lot of nights sleeping over Cassie's house? You and Cassie would go to a lot of parties. She said, I don't remember that, saying we would go to a lot of parties. I don't really party that much. Are you sure? Yeah. Well, let me show you something to refresh your memory. When you met with federal prosecutors, read that. And when you done, look up at me. After she saw that, she changed that story up. What up, Elijah? Cassie. When you went by Cassie's house, she asked you, do you like to get high? This was the first night you went over there. You and Cassie spent a lot of time getting high. You and Cassie spent a lot of time getting high. What's up, baby? I see you. What's up, man? What's happening? When you dropping it? You tuning in tonight? I'm live right now. My man. Brianna, what kind of drugs did you and Cassie used to use? She said weed. No. Hold up. Nicole Westmoreland was telling her what kind of drugs they was using. She said y'all used to smoke weed, eat edibles, cocaine, ketamine, ecstasy, Molly, GHB, acid, Percocet, Vicodin, Cocoa Puff. All the drugs. Cassie and Brianna used to use all of them drugs. Weed, edibles, cocaine, ketamine, ecstasy, Molly, GHB, tank acid, Percocet, Vicodin, and Cocoa Puff. She said, what is Cocoa Puff? Cocoa Puff is when you put cocaine in a blunt. How did the weed make you feel? Hungry and excited. did the cocaine make you feel? Confident. What did the ketamine do for you? It opens your mind. How did the ecstasy make you feel, Brianna? Made me feel loose. What about the GHB? The GHB made me feel like I was drunk on alcohol and it made me horny. Brianna, this is Nicole Westmoreland. You and Cassie had a serious drug problem. Brianna, you and Cassie were doing all of these drugs before you met Puff. She said, yeah, Brianna, you and Cassie were doing all of these drugs. You and Cassie were doing all of these drugs before you even met Puff. You sold drugs on a weekly basis. You sold Cassie drugs on a weekly basis. So Cassie and Brianna's hanging out, but Brianna is selling Cassie the drugs. Cassie got money. She's selling Cassie drugs, and then they getting high together. And, you know, Brianna, she like women, right? She don't like dudes. Nicole Westmoreland, Cassie was also on pills. Brianna, do you remember the time you went and got hundreds of pills for Cassie? Hundreds. Brianna, you gave Cassie drugs, you used to sell Cassie drugs, and then you would do drugs with Cassie for free. Brianna, Nicole Westmoreland, you had a drug dealer deliver drugs to Cassie. Do you remember the name of the drug dealer? Brianna said, I can't remember. Nicole Westmoreland said, Ray J. Oh, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. Now, all of a sudden, Brianna is getting cross-examined by Nicole Westmoreland. She can't remember nothing. She can't remember nothing. But when she get cross-direct examined by the prosecution, she remember everything. April 30th, 2016. Yep, we went and got our nails done. We went shopping. Yep, we was over there. But now, she can't remember nothing. When Nicole Westmoreland on her back, Nicole Westmoreland on her neck. Brianna, you and Cassie did drugs every day, right? Yes. You told federal prosecutors you and Cassie did drugs every day when you met with the federal prosecutors. I don't remember that. Well, let me refresh your memory. When you finish reading that, look up at me. Now, do you remember telling prosecutors that? Yeah. Brianna, the clothing brand you and Cassie were trying to put together, it didn't work out, right? No, because you had major competition from Beyonce, you had major competition from Rihanna, right? And you had issues with Diamond Supply. You had issues with Diamond Supply because you said these were a bunch of skateboarders that didn't understand the brand y'all was trying to put together. But Brianna, isn't it true that the fact that you and Cassie was getting high every day is the real reason why the clothing brand failed? The first time you met Puffy, Brianna, was at Puffy's house. You went over to meet Puffy and y'all had dinner at Puffy's house. Cassie took you over there in 2016. Nicole Westmoreland to Brianna, wasn't Puffy like standoffish from you? Wasn't he like standoffish from you when he first met you? Brianna, when's the last time you spoke to Deontay Nash? You spoke with Deontay Nash after his testimony, right or wrong? Yes. Brianna testified on the stand that Deontay Nash texted her this morning. When you spoke with Deontay Nash, Brianna, did y'all talk about his testimony? She said no. Brianna, when was the last time you talked to Cassie? Cassie texted me this morning. Brianna, have you spoken with Cassie since the trial started? Yes. Brianna, when was the last time you spoke to Cassie? Cassie texted me this morning. Cassie texted Brianna today, June the 4th, 2025, before she got on the stand. Y'all gotta check this out. Y'all not gonna believe this. Share this video. Listen, the part I'm finna tell y'all now, y'all gonna think I'm lying. Share this video and give it a thumbs up. Put me on 500 thumbs up. I need 500. Y'all not gonna believe this. Y'all not gonna believe this. Nicole Westmoreland, Brianna, in late 2023, Cassie called you and told you she was gonna sue Puff. Brianna, you read the lawsuit that Cassie filed before she filed it, and you spoke with Cassie about the lawsuit she was gonna file. After you read the lawsuit, after you and Cassie talked about Cassie's lawsuit, you went and hired a lawyer to seek justice for what happened to you, like Cassie did. When you first met with the federal prosecutors with Tyrone Blackburn, you thought it was a meet and greet. That's what you testified to. But you, in fact, did a full interview with the prosecutors. Brianna started stumbling. Nicole Westmoreland said, listen, Brianna, you don't have to practice the truth, right? If you telling the truth, I could tell you the truth today. You could wake me up next week at 3 o'clock in the morning. I could tell you the same story, the same way. You could wake me up next year if I'm telling the truth, and I tell you the same story exactly. Nicole Westmoreland said, why are you meeting with the government? You don't gotta practice the truth. Nicole Westmoreland. Brianna, let's go through a timeline. November 2023. In November 2023 and December 2023, when Cassie getting ready to file a lawsuit, Nicole Westmoreland say you and Cassie hooked back up. Y'all hooked back up. When she said hook back up, implying like, because Brianna dates women, The prosecution said, sidebar, 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 sidebar. Sidebar. Anytime Nicole Westmoreland tried to make an inference that Brianna and Cassie weren't just friends, cool homegirl, that's my homegirl, that, you understand, it was more than that. The government, sidebar, Nicole Westmoreland, Brianna, in November 2023 and December 2023, you and Cassie were discussing lawsuits and suing Puff. You spoke with Cassie before she filed her lawsuit, and you spoke with Cassie after she filed the lawsuit. Brianna, why was you speaking with Cassie about the lawsuit? Brianna, on the stand, under oath, Cassie asked me for permission to put my name in her lawsuit. I told her no. Brianna, isn't it true that you and Cassie talked about the balcony incident? You wanted the incident to be at her apartment, and she said, no, let's make the balcony incident at a hotel. You and Cassie discussed locations of where the balcony incident happened. Cassie said hotel, you said your apartment. You and Cassie were discussing the dates of the balcony incident. You and Cassie were discussing who y'all should put, who was there. Cassie said Tiffany Red, but you said, nah, don't put Tiffany Red, put my ex-girlfriend. Y'all gotta hear that again. I gotta let y'all hear that again. I gotta let you, yo, it's unbelievable. Brianna and Cassie get together before Cassie filed her lawsuit in November 2023. Brianna filed hers 60 days later, and they saying, where should we say the balcony accident happened? Let's say hotel. Nah, don't say hotel, say the apartment. Say Tiffany Red was there. Nah, say my ex-girlfriend was there. What date? Yo, this shit is crazy. This is real. Listen, this is real testimony. I'm not making this up. And they got a man, he may not be the greatest man in the world. He definitely assaults women. He's a domestic violence person. He may be an unscrupulous businessman. But these two women are conspiring to make up a story about a balcony incident that maybe never even took place. And they could give this man 30 years. Nicole Westmoreland. When you met with federal prosecutors, you told him, Brianna, that Cassie didn't see the balcony incident. Cassie told you, I didn't see you get hung over the balcony. You told Cassie you was there. You and Cassie had a lot of conversations about this balcony. You and Cassie talked about dates, locations, individuals, and who saw what. Nicole Westmoreland. You and Cassie spoke about this. You know what Brianna said? I don't remember. I don't remember. But you remember you got your nails done April the 30th, 2016. You remember what Puffy told you on the beach in Malibu? Brianna said, I don't remember. Nicole Westmoreland said, read this and let me refresh your memory. You hired another lawyer 30 days later. You testified that you were on FaceTime with Cassie and Cassie had a black eye. Were you there? No. When you were with Cassie from 2015 to 2016, did you ever see any bruises on Cassie? No. Brianna, at Cassie's 29th birthday, supposedly Puffy and Cassie were physically fighting. Watch my phone, baby. How much drugs were you on that night? Nicole Westmoreland killing this girl, man. I got it, bro. Yeah.
And on man, DDG is a These messages kind of small, and when speak about exchanging my son in a money deal for views, and openly flirt about help every other woman in the world but me. You hate me and want to see me die. I want to be. I want to die because of you. Wow, this is crazy. Wow, wow. DDG says he never hit Haley like she claims. He says she launched herself from the back seat and hit her head on the steering wheel while trying to punch him. Guidance on how to proceed during the incident petition demanding I talk to her and make a schedule, then proceeded to strike me from the back seat by launching herself over the center console into the front seat to punch me, as she did, as so her momentum caused her to hit her head on the steering wheel. At no point did I strike her. In fact, I attempted to shield myself from restraining her arms to prevent further punches. Wow. Wow, man. This is getting crazy and crazier, man. This is getting crazy and crazy. DDG claims Haley Billy threatened to abort the child Halo if they didn't reconcile. Petitioner threatened me, demanding that we reconcile and she would go through the abortion. This was the most troubling of her attempts in correctly control me. Wow. DG has filed an emergency order to stop Haley B from taking her son to Italy. Yo, this whole situation it's wild, man. It's wild and it's sad also. You know, you got two young people, they got a kid together, and they living their life, they living their dream. They both successful, they both rich or whatever. Now they got a kid that got to go through this with their parents. You know what I'm saying? You got a mom and a dad who supposed to love each other and supposed to love this kid, but they broke up. You know what I mean? So now it's basically just about co-parenting. And now we have allegedly threats of her about to kill herself, um, about to abort the baby. And we got the messages, allegedly, these are from her, that he put, get it on the court documents. So I don't know, man. I hate seeing stuff like this right here because there's a kid involved, you know, but anything you kind of put online or going into court, there's going to be somebody that put it online. So I have somebody like me to not judge, but talk about it. You know what I mean? Even though we shouldn't talk about it, but then again, it's like, hey, it's news, publicity or whatever. But again, man, this is a sad situation. I really hope she didn't try to abort the baby. You know what I mean? Like this is, and I hope she not really will try to kill herself. You know, like why? Because a guy didn't want to be with you no more. Come on, man. She was about to have a kid. Like, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to kill yourself? You know what I'm saying? Like, even though y'all break up, go find another guy. There's a million other guys out there, great guys. You know what I'm saying? Also, there are a lot of women out here, great women that he can find also. So just go your separate ways, but then again, take care of the kids separately. You know what I'm saying? Just come together and take care of the kid as best as you can. You know what I mean? That's my opinion, man. What else? Let's see what else we got, man. Let's see what else going on today. News, man. I don't got nothing going on. I might go to the gym in a few, but I'm online. Let's see. Let's see what else going on in the news today. I think I already talked about Cardi B. Cardi B. No, she just, let's see. I made a video also about Cardi B, man. Cardi B and Offset and Stephon Diggs, who's an NFL player. Cardi B and Offset about to get a divorce. So it seems this is crazy. Oh, let's see. Let's see what Cardi B talking about, man. Cardi B always talking about some stuff going on in her life. Let me refresh this right quick. Cardi B and Offset continue to go through it, and she beats online all the time, talking crazy. I don't want to play that yet. Let me see. Yeah, let's play it. Fuck it.
Just that didn't know nothing. I'm with the person that I am with now because sometimes I don't know, like I just feel like God would tell me to give him a chance, which is so weird. But like y'all be like, "Oh God, girl, you're being dramatic," but it's so weird. There was times that I used to be like depressed and I was like sad and like my mind just kept going in circles and circles and circles. And for some reason, when I had those weird episodes, that's when that's when a motherfucker would like hit me up or text me out of the mood, checking on me and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just give it a chance. You know what I'm saying? And before I popped out, before I even give any clue who I was talking to or anything, I built a friendship. I built a friendship. I got to know the person. They get to know me. And we still getting to know each other. But most importantly, I feel very young. I feel very refreshed. For a very long time, I felt like I was a 45-year-old just that didn't know nothing. And I think that people just don't understand because I don't really be yeah, I be putting my business out there, but I don't think my that people understand like just things that I like literally like went through. Because everybody's be like, "Oh, you left somebody because they were cheating on you," and blah, blah, blah. It's just more than the cheating. It's just like I don't know, just like the constant lies, the gaslighting.
We already know, man. Cardi B, she comes online all the time. On the platforms, man. She go live on Instagram and stuff like that. Always talking about Offset, all what's going on now. Her and Offset about to get a divorce, and now she's with Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs, I think Stephon Diggs got kids. I know there's a couple women that kind of came out online and say he's their baby father. So she's going with another man that 9 out of 10. I don't think. Listen, I don't try to be in people's life, man. But it's like when you putting stuff like this right here online, it's gonna be people like me that gonna talk about you. You know what I'm saying? Not judging you, but give our opinion or whatever. And to be honest with you, man, I don't think Stephon Diggs. They're not that old, but it's like this guy in the NFL, multi-millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly, he done been with so many women. So it's like, do Cardi B really expect Stephon Diggs to marry her eventually, or they just having fun? You know, like it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. But what else happened? Let me see. Because she said something else that I thought was kind of crazy. Oh, it's right here. Okay. Huh. It's not playing. I don't know why.
Becoming a liability. You know how many weak ass rap bitches, from the biggest to the lowest. I feel like all they had, because you know, a bitch can't sub me for nothing. A bitch can't talk shit about me for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm a bad bitch from head to motherfucking toe. Bad bitch from head to toe. I could rap. I do numbers. My kids look cute. I got good jewelry, good cars, property owner. You know what I'm saying? A bitch can diss me or play me in nothing. Bitch can talk about shit about me in nothing. There was all every single time that they talk shit about me was because of one thing. When you start becoming a liability and you start to get in between my work, I could even diss these whack bitches. Because every single time I diss them, they always bring up that one fucking thing. Shit was becoming a liability. Fucking person. I was getting in between my work. I'm not gonna lie and not say that motherfuckers wasn't helping me with my work. When I say helping, I'm not talking about writing or none of that shit. Just helping me, because we did help each other with our jobs. But it's like you helping me and yet you destroying me at the same time. Because from the smallest bitches with no fucking certification, with no nothing, with talentless as fuck, will diss me just over one person. Had to go. You becoming a liability to my work, you gotta go. Now these bitches gonna pay because now y'all can talk shit about nothing. Fucking person. I was getting in between my work.
Yeah, so it's like take us out the group chat, man. You know what I'm saying? Take us out the group chat, yo. Take us out the group chat, man. This is Cardi being Offset Kid, and that's her boyfriend Stephon Diggs. They uh they got the same hairstyle. Offset didn't like that. He did not like that, man, at all. And what else we could talk about, man, before I get off here? It's Cardi B right here. Hey, she twerking now. She twerking. She twerking, man. She twerking. You know, Cardi B is a former stripper, man. They made it official. They made it official. Cardi B and Stephon Diggs. You know, the only thing I can do, man, is salute them. You know what I'm saying? Whatever floats their boat. You know what I'm saying? Whatever floats their boat, man. Whatever floats their boat. I'm about to get off here. Hey, man, listen. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I really go live. I might start doing this more. I'm not sure, but continue to watch my videos, man. I'm gonna put out a couple of videos tonight, and go from there, man. Hope y'all have a good day. Once again, man, I do appreciate y'all for tuning in. Until next time, man. Y'all have a good one.